Hey everybody, Doug here. Wanted to do a quick announcement up top. This episode on Batman was recorded before Hollywood went on strike, and I held on to it as long as I could until the strike was over, and I'm releasing it now. So that is why the promo stuff at the end of the episode is going to be way off base. So you can ignore that. The actual episodes coming up next are one on the 16-bit era of Disney video games, followed by the Care Bears franchise, and then an episode on Crash Bandicoot. That is the current plan. The other thing that's happened since we recorded this is that our guest, Alex Sosin, has released the trailer for his upcoming horror short film, The Canyon. So I put a link to that trailer into the show notes so you can watch it and get a feel for what it's like. It's a cool 70s throwback, so I think you'll dig it. So that's it, and now let's get on with the Batman.
Hello, and welcome to Nostalgia Arcana. I'm your host, Doug Leaf. Each episode of this podcast, we'll look back on the movies, TV, games, people, and phenomena that we still love talking about all these years later, and ask ourselves why these bits of pop culture still enchant us today. This week, we'll be revisiting
in the words of both Prince and Michael Keaton, let's get nuts. Because today we are talking about 1989's Batman by Tim Burton. I have been talking on the show about wanting to do an episode on Batman for a long time. And just to give you an idea of how influential this movie was, I think it has come up in maybe a third of our episodes, including the ones that have nothing to do with superheroes or any connection to Batman. It comes up because this movie was this was a bombshell creatively. So I'm really excited to talk about it. And with me, of course, I'm not doing it alone. I've got a dynamic duo. With me is a filmmaker in his own right and someone who I know loves this movie probably more than anything. And I know him from the prestigious film school known as Top of the World Elementary School, Alex Sosin.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's great to be here.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Let's do what we did when we were 9. Let's talk about Batman.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say I have a memory of you. We go so far back, actually. Like, I remember we were talking about Superman 4, which came out in 1987, and also Inner Space, which you saw before I did, also in 1987. So it's just so funny how far back we go in the movies we talked about that we actually saw in real time in the 80s. A lot of people don't get to do that. We were there.
Yeah, I was thinking about my nostalgic memories of Batman, and a lot of them are kind of wrapped up around hanging out with you and talking about it. Like, I remember going over to your house, and you were able to draw from memory all of these different Bat logos. So you did the one from the Burton movie, you did the Adam West one, I think some of the like Frank Miller stuff, whatever they were at the time, you were able to just from memory just freehand these drawings, and I was super impressed at your Bat knowledge.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that sounds familiar. I don't remember all of that, but that sounds like something I would have done at the time. That sounds, yeah. I'm a little bit older now, but I remember doing that.
Yeah. So tell me, like, because I know this movie was a big deal for you. Tell me what it was. Like, why did it connect with you that way?
Well, it's funny. I as a kid, I saw less movies than I see now. I see a lot more movies. It just wasn't a thing where I'm like at the movies all the time, especially, you're 9 years old. You're just not seeing movies all the time. But I specifically remember that before Batman came out, I was obsessed with, to me, one of the best superhero movies ever made, which was Superman the movie, Christopher Reeve, and of course its sequel, the Richard Lester cut of Superman 2. So that was my intro to superheroes, was kind of like the hunky-dory, just like larger than life and, just happy Boy Scout Superman. And then all of a sudden, I was 9 years old and I saw with my mom. First, I saw the trailer for Batman in 1988, and I think it was in front of a movie called Shipwrecked, which was Disney's Shipwreck, which I don't know, we might have seen together, actually.
I don't have any memory of that.
Yeah.
I don't. You could be right. I just don't remember.
No, I know it's been a while, and I don't want to. I don't want to go too crazy, but I specifically remember that I saw a trailer, and the trailer was the first version of the trailer that was essentially released when every fan went to a movie just to see the trailer instead of just watching the whole movie. It was kind of like what happened with Star Wars, where you just watch a trailer and then you leave the film. But I specifically remember that Michael Keaton was serious, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is a more serious Michael Keaton. He's still quirky, but there's something's off with this guy. And then all of a sudden they cut to these shots of Batman in kind of a dark version of the comic version that I was used to. And I was used to not the Frank Miller Batman. I was used to the happier, Super Friends version of Batman where he's smiling. And then all of a sudden you see this, Michael Keaton saying, I remember in the trailer, he's like, I can't make it. I have a very important meeting today. He's brushing off Vicky Vale. And then it just cuts to all these shots of him in the costume. And I didn't get it the first time. I thought, is this a movie about a guy who thinks he's Batman? And I didn't get, is it like a guy who has schizophrenia or he's living multiple lives? And I didn't make the connection that this actually was the Batman movie, specifically one of the most iconic films of the 80s. And so I put it together. And the next thing you know, it's just kind of a scary feeling. It's kind of like, so wait, this is like Batman for adults? Maybe I shouldn't watch this. But inevitably, I did see the film. And it's scary. As a 9-year-old, I was more used to, like, in 1989, I saw, like, Ghostbusters 2, which was a little more safe. Also a fun summer movie. And that was scary, too, with Vigo the Carpathian. But when you see when you see Michael Keaton show up in this movie on those sets designed in England, which looks so otherworldly, it looks like a grimy metropolis that I don't think Christopher Nolan got right. If you ask me, I think Pattinson came close with his version of Gotham City. You literally see it's like a comic book come to life in more of a nightmare version. This is like as a kid, it was almost like the Freddy Krueger version of Batman. I mean, here's a guy who is probably crazy, which I don't think a lot of actors have gotten as Bruce Wayne, but you get it with Michael Keaton. That this guy, I think, has mental problems, and yet they're playing this triumphant theme. So it's like two things working together, just in it's like very Phantom of the Opera in a way. And then here he is in this suit, which is still my favorite suit, the original, not even the return suit, beating the crap out of these almost homeless criminals. And the next thing you know, Jack Nicholson gets shot in the face. As a 9-year-old, you're like, oh my God, this guy gets shot in the face, fell into acid, and all of a sudden he becomes the Joker. So as a kid, what attracted to me and why it's still one of my favorite movies is that it is a very adult, no-nonsense, yet fantastical version of Batman that Tim Burton got right, because Tim Burton is very weird, and I hope he never changes. Because he gave us the masterpiece of the 80s as far as a superhero movie. It became as iconic as Christopher Reeve's Superman, and now you just have a movie that's going to stand the test of time. And those were my first thoughts, that I was scared, and that this guy was wearing an adult, rubber. He looked like a literal Dark Knight coming out of the darkness, and no other costume has matched that costume as far as I'm concerned. So overall, I love Batman because it scared me as a kid, and I always like that. I like being scared as a kid and then growing up and remember those memories. And I like it because it's just one of the most iconic movies ever made, from the theme by Danny Elfman, which is up there with John Williams' Superman theme. I mean, it just has so many elements that are ghoulish and macabre, and I think a lot of superhero movies don't dare to go there, and yet it never loses sight of the fact that it's a fantasy, which, again, a lot of superhero movies lose track of, where they're all serious without being a little tongue-in-cheek. This had everything. This had everything in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, this became the template. I mean, we've used this term on the podcast before. We talked about Batmania, which, like, if you're not old enough to remember it, like, me, you, like all these kids and adults were just all of a sudden became huge Batman fans, where it wasn't cool to like Batman before because all we had was like Adam West and and Super Friends, and like not as many people were hip to stuff like The Killing Joke and The Dark Knight Returns, which were the influences behind these really dark Batman comics, which The Killing Joke is so influential that basically every Batman story afterwards was like, we were inspired by The Killing Joke. Like, well, no shit you were, because every Batman artist is. And
they say it every time almost.
And I love the Nolan movies. I think they're great, especially the first two. Sure. And they get a lot right about the character. But one thing that this does that none of the others do is, you're right. Gotham is gothic here.
It is goth. It's almost biblical in how gothic it is, and it has those operatic. I mean, you feel like you're watching like the Charles Laughton Hunchback of Notre Dame, or again the Phantom of the Opera. I mean, this is a city where a creature lurks. This is not Chicago, Nolan's clean Chicago, which is a kind of an allegory for post 9/11 terrorism, where a freak dressed like the Joker, a terrorist, can attack. This is where creatures and monsters live. This is the ghoulish. This is Tim Burton's mind.
Yeah, it absolutely reflects his mind. It's, of course, his kind of unique style, which this was such a 1-2 punch after Beetlejuice, which is one of my favorite movies. And like, it's more of this, like, Tim Burton is just this master of Halloweenish stuff. And like, this is a nightmare city. Like, it fits Batman, but like, even in the daylight, it is creepy. And like, I couldn't imagine a single person ever wanting to actually live there or set foot in it.
Correct. Where you can kind of, again, and this is not, Alex Sosin craps on Christopher Nolan. Although, and by the way, I'm going to give mad props to Oppenheimer. I know that's off subject, but this movie is probably my favorite Nolan movie. So I don't hate his guts. I've always found it funny that he tried to mimic the seriousness of the first Batman, but there's something off, because in this, like you said, in broad daylight in Nolan's version, it's almost like, oh, okay, it's Chicago, it's nice. Maybe I'll stop at a Starbucks and get a drink. And this one, it's like, what freak of nature is chasing me? He probably like lives by a dumpster and beats up kids or something. It's almost like Stephen King's It. This movie, in a way, is terrifying. Burton's vision of Gotham, it's just larger than life and terrifying. Yeah,
it owes a lot to, I think, 40s era Batman, like the original conceptions of that stuff.
Correct.
And my favorite Batman, I think, of all time, as much as I love this, I love the animated series even more. We did an episode on that. We actually did an episode on Superman as well.
Yeah.
But Batman the animated series wouldn't exist without this, and it owes an enormous debt to it.
They use the same music for the opening theme. Elfman did a version of it, I think, for the opening.
And Shirley Walker, who did all of the scoring for the series, worked under Elfman basically on this as well. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
She kind of migrated over to the animated series, so she cut her teeth on this. So we've been going. I want to kind of get into the movie specifically. So I thought we'd go beat by beat, which is kind of just to keep it organized. But the movie opens with that theme, which is like. I like some of the other music they've done for Batman movies and stuff, but like nothing beats this. This is one of the best pieces of just movie music, period. Let alone any Batman or superhero related stuff.
It's so organic, and the way they filmed, what I later found out is a camera traveling through a model. I mean, you watch the credits even to this day, and you almost forget that we're traveling through the Bat logo. But we're traveling through Gothic. We are traveling through these tunnels where you expect a gargoyle to loom, and then you hear the beginning of Elfman's score, and immediately it's uncomfortable. It's like it's awesome, but immediately I'm like, okay, I'm getting the creeps. No other theme has done that.
It is the perfect like minor key balance to something like John Williams' Superman score. Like they're absolutely like two sides of the same coin,
right?
And which is fitting.
Grief. You feel you almost feel that's another thing that Batman doesn't have. Now we'll go through it beat by beat. This has angst. It's almost like you're traveling through the emotions of a troubled Bruce Wayne. Like in those opening theme notes, it's almost like, it's like, why does this man lurk in the shadows and put on a costume? Let's find out. It's like, it lures you in with this mesmerizing, question and theme.
Just that first few notes, that like once you had that was the whole thing. That's it. That's the whole piece. Yep. It's incredible. And so from that we go to this scene in front of the Monarch Theater, where a family, not unlike the Waynes, I kind of almost wish they didn't say Harold because
foreshadowing in a way.
Yeah, well, the dad's name is Harold. Once they say that, we know that his parents are Thomas.
Harold.
Yeah, Thomas and Martha Wayne. I list because at first you're like, oh shit, are we watching the Waynes about to die? No, it's this other family. They go, they're accosted, and then Batman from the shadows hunts down the perpetrators and gets them.
Right. But if they hadn't given it away so early, you're right. They could have let that go a little bit. That's an interesting quip, actually. They could have let it go a little bit longer before, maybe Harold, help, watch out, and then they're like, oh shit, it's not Tom. But I see. This situation that Bruce went through is still going on. This is a repetition into the future that'll eventually be foreshadowed in memories, which I always love too. Is that the memory is so much stronger than almost having it be a conception from the birth of Batman. I love that he thinks back. It almost makes me want to cry. It's like, oh my God, what this guy went through. But,
right, he's watching it happen again.
He's watching,
and he does it. It's interesting because he doesn't intervene. He doesn't stop the mugging from happening. He does get them afterwards, which is it's interesting. I think it's because he doesn't want to be seen yet. Because this is the movie lets us know this is Batman at the beginning of his career. So he hasn't been around. Like his legend is around, but.
Yeah.
Like they don't
he's like year 3 or 4.
Right.
Like, I don't know. He's like a more grown up Robert Pattinson, if you want to kind of compare it or something like that.
Yeah, we're not literally at the beginning, say Nolan would have done in Batman Begins, but we're close because right now not a lot is known about Batman. He's not calling up Commissioner Gordon whenever he feels like it. Yeah. Like this is
he's a freak, and that's what I love about it. And I'm just being honest. It's like Darkman. He's a freak, ladies and gentlemen. But no, he is for all intents and purposes, and the way Tim Burton thinks. That's what I love about this movie. Is this guy is a creature of the night. No Batman movie to this day has done it the way that Burton did it, where it's like this thing is waiting for us. There's something out there waiting for us. And notice you don't see him as Bruce Wayne first, so you only know there's this thing out there that's attacking people in the night. I mean, it's so he could almost be the bad guy. And yet that music reminds you is the good guy, and I love that conflict.
And this is probably like the darkest they've made him in terms of color, because he really blends it. Like he is so black. The suit is so black. He blends in with the night. He looks like a demon or a gargoyle.
He does
in a way that like as much as like Robert Pattinson and Christian Bale are wearing these very dark colors. Like. That first shot of Batman too, when he's on the rooftop, is actually animated as a cartoon as he turns around, and walks away, which is like it makes him look even more like just a looming shadow. It's
right
cool.
Now that was for some reason they did do that shot, but they did have original footage, and it's in the original script, I think by Sam Hamm. Is that they describe it that I think even before the action starts, it's like the city looms at night, and above the gargoyles look down as if they're watching the citizens. Oh wait, one of the gargoyles moves. We realize it's not a gargoyle, we or the viewer, and they did shoot that with, I believe, the double for Michael Keaton. They had he's on my Instagram actually, but they had this guy dressed in the Batsuit blending with the gargoyles, and for some reason they didn't use that footage. I'm almost grateful they didn't. I actually like that little animated Batman, because it's like, what the hell is that? What just moved? I kind of like the way they did that.
There's almost an uncanny valley thing about it, where your eyes are like, something's wrong with this.
Something's wrong with it.
Yeah. And we get these two dudes just, telling the campfire story that is, hey, the Batman.
Hey, let's beat it, man. I don't like it up here.
What, are you scared of heights?
I don't know. After what happened to Johnny Gobbs.
Hey, look, man. Johnny Gobbs got ripped and took a walk off a roof, all right? No big loss.
No, man. That ain't what I heard at all. I heard the Bat got him.
The Bat? Oh, man. Give me a break, will you?
5 stories straight down. There wasn't no blood in the body.
No shit. It was all over the pavement.
We're getting out of here, man.
Hey, shut up, man. Listen to me. There ain't no Bat.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have turned the gun on that kid, man. You shouldn't have turned the gun on that.
Do you want your cut of this money or not? Now, shut up. Shut up.
And he just like floats down behind them, and then proceeds to kick the crap out of them.
And the stories you hear, which again, as a kid, that's one of the things. Is like, hey, let's talk about a guy who fell, 4 stories, and there was no blood on the body. No shit, it's all over the pavement. I'm like, oh my god, somebody fell off a building and got splattered. Get me out of here! Like, they kind of give you these nightmare scenarios that scare children, and I just don't think any other Batman's done it. And then all of a sudden, down he comes, and they're already talking about a guy who, what if this guy drinks blood? I mean, they're giving you these folklore legends, and then you see him come down. It's like, I don't know what the fuck this is. This is like, is this Dracula with wings? Like, what the hell's about to happen? And that's something again, they have not been able to achieve.
I think it's because the other Batman movies since this, not counting the other stuff from this particular 4-movie series, Nolan's going, and Pattinson or his series, they're both going for things that are more realistic. Mm-hmm. And so, like, Christian Bale's Batman, he glides all over the place. Mm-hmm. But the way Michael Keaton comes into frame here, it's not natural. Like, it's against the laws of physics for him to just literally like come down like an elevator. And him doing those things makes you only
realize maybe it's a wire later he comes down, but you're not thinking that. The way he comes down is almost supernatural.
Yeah, and that makes you feel that like he's supernatural,
right,
and unearthly. Right. It's great,
yes.
and of course he gives us his signature "I'm Batman."
Still the best. Some people debate who has that best voice, and it was nice to see him do it again in The Flash. I think he was wasted in The Flash. That's another discussion.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it.
It should have been his movie, Doug. It should have been his movie.
Of course.
Unfortunately, you really find out you're just seeing it for him, and I won't get. But yes, the iconic on Batman, where he's changed his voice, it's almost a whisper. Funny enough, George Clooney tried the same thing, but he just sounded more like George Clooney. It's like, "Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman," and that was a little bad. But Keaton got it just right, got a little gravelly, but we still know he's a human being. We just think this guy must be insane, and I like that he might be insane, which is another thing they haven't done with Bruce.
Yeah, I still think the best Batman voice goes to Kevin Conroy, but I totally feel you. Like the
R.I.P.
Yeah, but this is like, he does a good job of differentiating Batman's voice, although Batman talks very little as Batman,
which I love as well.
But I like that Bruce Wayne is kind of a chatterbox, which is great. It gives Michael Keaton a chance to be Michael Keaton.
And we are going in order. But again, I do love that you see Batman first, and then if you're, you could almost think they're two different people, even though we all know in our hearts Bruce Wayne is Batman. But then you see this awkward, quirky guy who is also off, and because I think Kevin Smith had said Bruce Wayne is like, he could barely be Bruce Wayne. He's Batman all the way. That's why he's so awkward, because he doesn't know what to do with his, his normal body or the way he acts in front of people. So.
Yeah, I do think the Nolan line about, this is your mask is that's as pointed as it's ever been to describe that. And we get to this banquet where kind of celebrating Harvey Dent, and played by Billy D. Williams here, unfortunately to be replaced by Tommy Lee Jones later. Yeah. At this rally, they're talking about they're going to root out mob boss Carl Grissom. It's I found out that the Grissom character was sort of original. I think in early versions of the script, it was Rupert Thorne, who was like a Batman crime boss. He shows up in the animated series. So like he was a known character, but for whatever reason, they decided to make a different character for the crime boss.
Yeah, and that's taking originality. But, I guess he's either Carmine Falcone or Carmine Falcone. So you take your pick as to who he is. But that's the vibe that I got when I saw other remakes before. But yeah, he's that kind of mob boss.
Yeah, and I like that Batman's world is populated by this stuff, because it's like not everybody is a supernatural freak. Like there's also very real forms of criminals that populate Gotham that are in danger. Yeah. And we're about to be introduced to one of them, which is we meet Jack Napier.
Together, we can make this city safe. Decent people.
Decent people shouldn't live here. They'd be happier someplace else.
Pretty tough talk about Carl.
Don't worry about it. If this clown could touch Grissom, I'd have handed him his lungs by now.
You have been listening to a press conference. If Grissom knew about us, he might hand you something.
Don't flatter yourself, Angel. He's a tired old man. He can't run this city without me. And besides, he doesn't know.
You don't worry about anything, do you, Jack? You look fine.
I didn't ask.
I like what's the line about decent people shouldn't live here? He
Decent
says
people shouldn't live here. They'd be happier someplace else.
Which is right.
Yeah, but he's of the city. He's your perfect psychotic, and he's a great match for Batman. Both actors chose, and he's a great match because in Burton's version they are both crazy, and I love that. They're both pretty much crazy.
And they talk about that a lot, where like other characters will talk about how crazy Jack is even before the transformation.
He's crazy now.
Yeah,
wait till he falls in the acid. But I digress.
Yeah, and we don't see him get. What's interesting is they talk about him that way. You don't see him lose his composure. That he differentiates it pretty well. That like we don't see him cackling and doing psychotic stuff, but we get that he is aggressive. Perhaps
he's but it is. I would say the experience that Access Chemicals kind of unleashes what might have been within him all along. Of course, spoiler, but what he did when he was much younger, I think there was always that. And then the chemicals brought it out about 500 times stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we find out he has been stooping Alicia, who is Carl Grissom's lady, wife, girlfriend, whatever he is, but they're having a fling.
Mick Jagger. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we meet Lieutenant Eckhart, who is William Hootkins. Well, here's the interesting connection I found out. So William Hootkins, who plays Eckhart, we just name dropped Tommy Lee Jones. They went to school together. They went to they acted together in high school. So
you got several on me here.
Yeah, it's a cool little connection to Batman stuff. But anyway,
free Robin Williams situation.
Exactly.
Cool.
And I like that he's and we also meet Knox, played by Robert Wool, who's the journalist.
So good in the film.
He's great.
After doing his chops in Good Morning Vietnam, he was clearly was the best choice.
Yeah, he's a great comedic character, and you watch Eckhart just he does not give two Fs. Like he's just the guy slipped on a banana peel.
And GTFO, slipped on a banana peel. He's corrupted. He's probably the kind of guy that Denzel would shake down in one of the Equalizer movies. Cop who lost his way, doesn't give a shit anymore, and he slips on a banana. It's not my problem. I don't want to look.
Christ, Knox.
Hello, Lieutenant Eckhart. I hear we just had us another bat attack. That's 8 sightings now in just under a month? I hear the commissioner's even opened a file. True?
Sorry, Knox. These two slipped on a banana peel.
Bat. I'm telling you, man. A giant bat. Keep moving.
Don't be writing this stuff in your newspaper, Knox. It'll ruin your already useless reputation.
Lieutenant, every punk in this town is scared stiff. You know what they say? They say he can't be killed. They say he drinks blood. I
say you're full of shit, Knox. Oh, you can quote me on that.
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? And if so, is he on the police payroll? And if so, what's he pulling down after taxes?
Yeah, there's a guy. It's interesting. There's a guy who looks just like this in Batman Begins, a character named Flass, and corrupt police lieutenant, kind of playing both sides. But even physically, they look the same, and they both kind of look like Harvey Bullock from the animated series. Although Bullock is not corrupt, he's a lot of things, but he's not corrupt.
No.
And so we go to City Hall. We find out it's the 200th anniversary of Gotham coming up,
which I love. It's so ancient.
Yeah,
it's just such an old city. See, that's another thing that I was going is the fact that this is not, even in Nolan's version, Gotham is being rebuilt and it's like this industrial kind of I don't know, it looks like Tomorrowland or something. And this one's we're celebrating the 200th anniversary of a place that, you lay eyes on it, you'll probably want to jump into the river because this place is not for anybody to live. And by the way, it's 200 now. So that just shows how long it's been a ghoulish place.
Right. It makes it feel more haunted or something.
Yes.
And we go to see Knox at work, and Vicky Vale walks in, and we find out she is a photojournalist.
Hello, Legs.
I'm reading your stuff.
Well, I'm reading yours.
Hi, I'm Vicky Vale.
Vicky Vale, yeah, photographer, Vogue, Cosmo, yeah. Listen, if you want me to pose nude, you're gonna need a long lens.
Actually, I was in the Corto Maltese.
Girl could get hurt doing this stuff. So, what brings you here?
I'm here to see some of the wildlife in Gotham City.
What? Like what?
Like bats.
Who sent you?
No, nobody. Really, I just loved your story, and I like bats.
Yeah?
My pictures, your words, Pulitzer Prize material. Just think.
Okay, you're a visionary. You're also the only one who believes me. I need something tangible. Gordon's got a file on this. I can't even get him on the phone.
Bruce Wayne's benefit. He'll be there, right?
Yeah. Oh, I don't seem to be on the guest list. No. Yes. Vale, will you marry me?
Nope.
Will you buy me lunch?
Maybe.
I eat light.
And she's actually the one person on Earth who is interested in Knox's Batman stories.
That's right. And even, clearly Bob Kane didn't give a shit, even though he drew that picture. But, the one that, Knox, I got something for you. And there's a picture.
Oh, that's drawn by Bob Kane?
That is 100% Bob Kane.
Who is one of the creators of Batman, along with Bill Finger.
Who got, I guess, second, he got a kind of second seating to what Bob Kane accomplished. I know later they said adapted by Bill Finger. I think in this movie it says Bob Kane. Back then I thought it was only Bob Kane, back in the day. But yes, have you seen this man? Knox, I got something for you. Everybody's laughing
it looks like a cocktail napkin doodle.
Yeah, and it looks funny and it looks scary. It looks like the exact Burton thing once again, just displaying kind of like his ghoulish Beetlejuice chops from the earlier. It's like, here's a fucking, just like a flying bat rat in a suit. It's like you don't know what to make of it as a kid. You just know it's kind of scary, but it's funny too.
Yeah, but we both know, of course, Knox is right, and Vicky Vale is the right person for the job.
Yeah.
And she says, I like bats, which is interesting. She's obviously no stranger to like horror, because the one thing they show about her is that she was in some like war-torn Cordo Maltese.
Yeah, Cordo Maltese, which the Joker loves. But yes, actually I was more interested in Cordo Maltese, and the bodies, and Knox says as much, that she was in a dangerous area. A girl can get hurt doing this stuff. Yeah. So
she's tough. I like that they have her as,
she's not the girl on the railroad tracks. She's very much a tough, kind of like a Marion Ravenwood with, I want to say, blonde hair, kind of a 40s throwback in a way.
Yeah. And so now we cut back to Grissom, and he's having this meeting about what to do about Axis Chemicals, because this is their money laundering front that the authorities are now getting wise to, and they have to do something about it. So he tells Jack he wants him to go in and personally handle cleaning the place out, which of course we will find out, and it's pretty obvious already. This is just a trap to get him killed because he's been sleeping with his girlfriend. Yeah, that's a line I actually didn't. I mean, it's not. There's nothing I dislike about Batman. But the thing that now that you're mentioning it, he says out loud, just from a writer's standpoint, I've been doing so much writing that the fact that he says, all he had to do was look and see Jack exchange eyes with Alicia. But out loud, he says, for the audience's sake, my friend, your luck is about to change. He didn't have to, I don't think he had to say anything. I think he could have exchanged the glance. I know if Nolan directed that scene, he would not have said that. It's a little bit of a hat on a hat. It is. And, but it's fantasy for kids, so we got to explain a little bit. Yeah, just make it a little more overt what's happening. And this is where I believe he gives the line about, you are my number one guy, as only Jack Palance can.
That's all, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. That's all.
Carl, we get somebody else to do this? In the fumes in that place.
Jack. It's an important job. I need someone I can trust. You are my number one guy. Now, don't forget, your lucky deck.
Yes, the immortal Jack Palance, who had such an amazing film career, and just hiring Burton, just hiring all the right guys to play these characters. These almost like these archetypes. Yes, and I love that Napier's wearing this like purple suit, because it's like it's purple, but it's not like the bright purples that he'll be wearing later. It's not flamboyant. Yeah, it's just enough to kind of hint at it without being like, who the fuck wears a purple suit? Well, not just that, but it's like I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is going to be the suit that might be the one that he fell into the chemicals with. I could be wrong. But so the chemicals were like, hey, let's turn it bright purple. Let's go full Willy Wonka maniac on this guy. And, it's great. It's just such a foreshadowing. And the costume designer, you have to give them props for the that whole 30s, 40s kind of unplaceable time is another thing about Gotham in this movie. And the costume design is just so noir.
Yeah, it is this is absolutely a noir movie. I mean, not just in its 40s kind of aesthetic, or like, I love, this is the same thing that the animated series does that I love, which is that it's like, the aesthetic is the 40s, but the computers and things are modern. Like, it is out of time. Yes. And that's another thing that makes it feel timeless.
That's the same way and that's why movies like this are so iconic. And it would go to my favorite movie, Jaws. And this is not going to be about Jaws. I'm just saying that because you're on an island, you're dealing with kind of this old-fashioned pirate who wants to hunt and kill the shark. And it's so old-fashioned, it's like Moby Dick. And yet, we're walking around a rather modern society, but we're in an island. We're isolated. And it's Gotham, too. We're isolated. It's very 1940s, but all of a sudden you'll see, the hottest black Batmobile, Corvette drive by. And then it's like, wow, this thing, it's almost futuristic, then it's ancient. It's just an amazing mix.
Yeah. It makes this movie, if you released it today, this aesthetic would not feel dated. It would just feel unique and interesting.
It would.
So, yeah. So we get to this fundraiser at Wayne Manor where a bunch of things happen here. We get Harvey Dent and Commissioner Gordon are kind of Mayor Borg are playing. They're playing casino games and stuff, but eventually they get tipped off about Axis Chemicals. Yes. Meanwhile, we kind of get a real introduction to Bruce Wayne as he kind of dips into this conversation between Knox and Vicky Vale.
Where'd this come from?
I have no idea.
It's Japanese.
How do you know?
Because I bought it in Japan.
Who are you?
Oh, sorry. Bruce Wayne.
Alexander Knox.
Hi. Oh, I read your work. I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh, thanks. Can I have a grant?
Vicky Vale.
Hi. Bruce Wayne.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this time. I've seen your photographs from Corto Maltese, haven't I?
Right.
Yeah, you've got a wonderful eye.
Yeah, some people think she has two.
This is an amazing house. I'd like to shoot it sometime if you...
Mr. Wayne, we need to open a few more cases of the champagne. Will that be all right?
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Open, what, 6? 6?
Yeah, 6 is good.
Okay, yeah.
It's great. 6. Thanks. Anyway, are you going to be staying in Gotham for a while?
I'd love to. I'm intrigued by Alex's giant bat story, so I've done some...
Oh, the Batman.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah. That's a little bit light after the Warren Corto Maltese, isn't it?
And what do you do for a living?
Well, I'm involved.
Sir, Commissioner Gordon was compelled to leave.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Very unexpectedly, sir.
Will you two excuse me?
I think perhaps this way, sir.
Oh, Alfred, they need some more wine in the front room, and someone named Mrs. Daly needs a copy of the menu. Oh, and give Knox a grant.
That's such a great entry. They don't know who the hell he is, and of course, this would be it's like, oh, some quirky guy acting like Michael Keaton. We don't know. I guess he's just some guy at the party, and then later we find out he's running the whole thing in just the funniest way, and just the most almost genuine. The way it's Japanese. How do you know? Because I bought it in Japan. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh,
you're Bruce Wayne.
This motherfucker owns everything. Pardon my friend. This guy owns everything. Okay, this quirky guy is this is Bruce Wayne.
And the way he flaunts his wealth is very funny. We need 6 cases of champagne. 6?
Right, but he's not comfortable with it. He's not. Open what? 6? Oh, yeah, 6 is good. Knox is like, yeah, let's get drunk. But yeah, just the way he does it. I have never seen an interpretation like that as far as Bruce Wayne goes. I've seen a lot of good ones. The weirdest I think it got, again, was with Pattinson, in my humble opinion. Pattinson's on screen where it seemed like a very strange guy. But Keaton was especially strange. His casting was brilliant. Nobody knew at the time. It was the same thing with Heath Ledger. Nobody knew how far ahead, just how iconic this would be. But this quirky guy puts on a rubber suit at night and beats the crap out of criminals. It's fantastic.
Well, and it's again that thing of like he's the quote unquote billionaire playboy. That's what he's supposed to be.
Right.
But he's sociable. He's more sociable, I think, like than say Christian Bale is when he's playing Bruce Wayne. Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is a little more of an asshole, and this Bruce Wayne is
unassuming.
Well, he is more unassuming. He feels like you said, a quirky character. You could picture like Dustin Hoffman doing something like this too. Like this very like weird.
Yeah.
He's off in a way. Like Christian Bale's more of an alpha male as Bruce Wayne, which is
he's more
performative alpha male. But
he for all intents and purposes, and this is clear with Nolan, he is the James Bond version of Bruce Wayne. I mean, aside from, and yes, he is an asshole. He purposely fakes being, get out of my sight. He gets everybody out of the house, but it's a cover. But he is more of the handsome James Bond, where Keaton is not like, wow, Michael Keaton is so sexy. It's like, oh, Michael Keaton is rather awkward in this scene. I guess that goes with Michael Keaton being Michael Keaton. You just never really assume that this is the same guy who can actually put on that suit, and that's what I love so much about it.
Yeah, it's a cool scene, and we get that like transition where we see he's got like the camera behind the mirror they're staring into. He's a little bit of the Batcave, but not yet.
Right.
And so now we're at the showdown at Axis, where I love that so they're cleaning out the safe and there's nothing in it, and Jack Nicholson immediately susses out, this was a trap.
He knows what's up.
And before he can do anything about it, the cops descend on him, including Eckhart, who I love that Jack Nicholson just shoots him, for being disloyal.
It was coming. You always have, and it happens about 2 or 3 more times in the movie where he'll just shoot a guy that was kind of like a lot, siding with him. But that just goes to show what a psychopath he is, and it's just so perfect. I mean, the way that they have, you think like eventually he's going to kill this guy, but the way he does it like with a shrug, and he enjoys
and performance. Like he's like, all of the cops are there, Gordon's there, and he just calls out, "Hey, Eckhart,
think about the future, bang!" And the way he died, and then he starts grinning like the Joker for the first time. By the way, he gives that grin the minute he shoots him. He starts smiling, and I'm like,
he kind of already has that face,
He does, but he's already, because I know when Nick Dudman, the famous Nick Dudman, did the makeup on Jack, they wanted him to give the biggest smile he possibly could in order to get that perfect mold, and then extend it and give him a bit of a false nose, elongated chin, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Jack's smile. But that, as I'm thinking about it, that it really is the first time that you see him give that malevolent, kind of mischievous grin. It's like, okay, this guy, he's turning. He's turning.
Yeah, and I love when Batman shows up in the middle of this.
Oh, and the music.
The music kicks in, and we get this confrontation between the two of them, and Batman just picks him up pretty easily.
Yes.
And just
Jesus.
I love his reaction to that, because like we haven't heard Nicholson talk about the Batman the way the other guys did campfire stories about it, but he must be aware of it. And his just like shock of like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is clearly his first up close and personal encounter with him, and then of course he tries to brush it off with another iconic line, "Nice outfit," which I remember from the trailer as a kid. Mm-hmm. I didn't make the connection when I saw the movie as a kid. Maybe I'm a little slow, but I didn't. I actually, as a 9-year-old, hadn't exactly seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I hadn't seen The Shining. I hadn't been introduced to iconic Jack Nicholson. So
this was my first Nicholson as well.
This was my first experience with Nicholson also. I remember my parents and I remember hearing other people around me saying, "Oh, Jack Nicholson is the Joker," and I didn't get it. I'm like, who's he and who? I didn't. But
I knew he was someone people did impressions of. That's all I knew.
Right. As much as they do the Christopher Walken, you get the, basically everything Kevin Pollak does is is Jack. But yes, he has not had that encounter with Batman, so he's the kind of guy who would, sweep it under the rug, and then he gets it up close and personal. It's like, oh shit, Batman, you scared me, like, because he would scare anybody, and so you see him as a human being for a second.
Yeah, and he fires that gun at him, which of course ricochets back and hits him in the face.
It does. In a very kind of weird edit that I've never. I suppose it ricochets off Batman's hand and then hits like a metallic thing and then hits him. I always got confused about that shot.
Yeah, but I guess that's to later explain why he's got this rictus grin, is the surgery to repair this bullet wound through his cheeks.
Using the same tools from Little Shop of Horrors. They were the same ones loaned on the Warner Brothers lot.
You mean the props, the surgical tools?
The surgical tools for the Bill Murray scene in Little Shop of Horrors were the same surgical tools. Yeah. Huh. And so you'll see what I had to work with here. And he starts laughing like a maniac. Not in makeup.
Yeah. And so he goes into the chemicals. I like that Batman is holding him. Like, he's not.
Yeah.
We don't quite get. This is not like one rule Batman that like never lets anyone die. He's not that, but he doesn't like purposefully like toss Joker into the chemicals.
No, the worst it gets with Keaton is putting a bomb on a guy in Batman Returns and smiling about it. But even then, you're kind of like, all right, he's dead. So what? Whatever.
Yeah,
we got him.
It's just not that kind of a Batman.
No, it's not.
So he goes in, and then we get this. After he falls in, we do get the bit of the hand coming out of the murky water.
Yes.
Knocks,
back at the what's his story on the Batman?
Right. Oh, suicide? He thinks
suicide.
Yeah, Napier committed suicide.
Yeah. As a kid, you just hear suicide. It's like I don't know. Wait, who? But yes, supposedly Napier, committed suicide, and we know that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like they're constantly trying to feed this bullshit to Knox, and he just never. He's like, no, I clearly you're lying to me.
Yeah, they both are kind of bullshit free. They're pursuers of the truth, and they play their characters well, and we definitely get that sense.
And we're about to get a lot more of Vicky Vale because now we have her date with Bruce Wayne at Wayne Manor, which goes very, very well.
The most awkward date in the world until it does go well. But yes, it is the most awkward date in a room he's probably never been in before.
Yeah,
to his joke. Maybe he's joking, maybe he's not, but it's a good line.
While they're sitting at this world's longest table and they're super far away from each other. And I love that. Like, thematically, he's just like, no, we're going to get close. I'm going to, make a joke. Okay, we're not going to eat like this. We're regular people. Let's go have fun.
Could you pass the salt?
Sure. Did you have a hard time finding the house?
No. No, it's no problem. Do you like eating in here?
Oh, yeah. You want to know the truth? I don't think I've ever been in this room before. Do you want to get out of here?
Yes.
Yeah, and no other interpretation as well has done this, where not only is he sitting far away, because obviously, we don't want to get a close-up of his face. Don't look too close at me because I'm Batman. That's what I always got from it. And he does it later. She tries to look at him and he blinds her with a light in the Batmobile. So he is protecting his identity for sure. Mm-hmm. But yes, he's a very awkward and troubled human being, and it absolutely shows in the scene, but he plays it perfectly.
Yeah, and we get a lot of a very warm Alfred, but played by Michael Goff.
Yes,
who is telling stories about Bruce when he was a little kid.
Yep,
and entertaining everybody. And like, it feels like these three are like almost instantly kind of bonded together. Very well.
You get a bit of you get kind of like a little family thing going. Now, of course, that horse riding scene, there were scenes shot with Sean Young, who was Vicky Vale, until there was some. I don't know if
she was in a horse accident or something, right?
She was. In fact, I think it was horseback riding training, and she fell off the horse, and then out goes Sean Young, who had already made her mark in Blade Runner. But yeah, out goes Sean Young, and comes Kim Basinger. So that's always what I'm reminded of when I hear about the horseback riding childhood thing. I think they probably might have shot something, or I don't know, but yeah.
Okay. And then we get the scene you had alluded to earlier, which is this scene of Nicholson pulling off the bandages and cackling. And, like, this is one of the best, like, villain reveal things in all of, like, superhero comics.
The Joker is born.
The Joker, yeah. Like, it's a great moment.
Let's see how we did.
Mirror.
Mirror! You understand that the nerves were completely severed, Mr. Napier. You see what I have to work with here.
And it's scary. And it's scary for kids. You know, Burton doesn't shy away. This was back when movies made for kids were PG or R. I mean, this was PG-13, but let's just say for the sake of argument, this is the same kind of thing where, you know, when you're a kid, you watch The Never-Ending Story, you're scarred for life. You watch Return to Oz, which I believe I saw on VHS in your house. I don't know if you remember this. You were scarred for... I was scarred for life with the Princess Mombi shit.
Yeah.
The Princess Mombi thing to
The
this
Wheelers?
day...
Fuck that.
Scares the hell out of me, but you know what? I'm glad it happened because as a kid, it teaches you.
It's good.
It teaches you
It's a
good
good-
filmmaking.
It's a good kind of scary.
Yeah, and it tells you the world is a scary place, and this scene was no exception.
No, it still is one of the creepiest scenes in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
it's very effective. His performance, you can't even see him really, but
No.
just the way he reacts. Yeah, like it's an awesome birth of a monster scene. The only one that comes close in my mind, like superhero stuff, is that scene with Alfred Molina on the surgery table in Spider-Man 2, which is
close.
It's more gonzo though because it's Sam Raimi.
Because it's Sam Raimi, and that scene alone was very much, you know, like an Evil Dead 2 with everybody screaming and the way they cross-cut and all
And the
that
camera
shit.
and stuff,
But this straight up was like, okay, you got a 200-year-old city, you got maniacs running around, and now you have this guy in the dark who fell in acid and got shot in the face, unbandaging himself in the dark. And when you're a kid, it's like, please don't show his face. Please don't show. You don't know he's going to wind up looking like Cesar Romero Part 2, but it's scary. That's what I love about it, is that it's still scary.
Yeah. And this has been like parodied and stuff that like it's one of the most iconic
We did like
scenes.
a little bit of me. Well, that's coming, but yes.
Yeah, that's we're about to get there. So we get Wayne and Vicky Vale. They go off to bed, and then we, you know, just with that brief interlude, we come back to Carl Grissom being confronted. You know, hello, Sugar Bumps.
That you, Sugar Bumps? Who the hell are you?
It's me, Sugar Bumps.
Oh, thank God you're alive. I heard you.
Fried? Is that what you heard? You set me up over a woman. A woman! Must be insane. Don't bother.
Your life won't be worth spit!
I've been dead once already. It's very liberating. You should think of it as therapy.
Listen. Maybe we can cut a deal.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
And as you can see, I'm a lot happier.
Is that you, Sugar Bumps? Who the hell are you?
Yeah, and I love the way that he is shot in the dark there, that again, you can kind of make out the contours and go like, okay, that's clearly Jack Nicholson. I recognize sort of Jack Nicholson's face, but it takes until he steps into the light that you get the full look at him.
But man, in the dark, you see enough, as you know, you see his face in the dark, you see it, and you're like, there is something wrong with Jack Napier. What the hell? What in the fuck is wrong with his face? Is he smiling? What's going on? Brilliant Tim Burton. You know, you have moments like that even in later Burton with Sleepy Hollow. You know, the witch. What does she look like? And then she just pops out. You know, he's so good at macabre, so good at it. He really is a Hammer film director. Of course, using Michael Gough and using these guys from those Hammer movies. He just understands how to scare kids and yet also appeal to them at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I love that what he says, Jack, I've been dead once already. And he says, I'm a lot happier now.
Yeah, it's very liberating. You should think of it as therapy.
He talks about that a lot throughout the movie, that this motif of like, I've already been dead once. I've been killed multiple times. Right.
You made me. You dropped me into... Yeah, he's got a lot of I've been dead, because it really is a rebirth. I mean, it's almost like Napier's not really there anymore, but he remembers he is. I suppose it's like Peter Weller becoming RoboCop. Alex Murphy's there somewhere, but deep down. And that's not a good comparison because RoboCop's good.
Yeah, he's the hero. But
Joker
like,
is not.
yeah, we get this quick shot of Bruce Wayne sleeping upside down like a bat.
Fantastic.
I don't know what to make of it. It's so outlandish, but it's like it fits because it's Burton's Batman.
It is.
You know what I mean, it would be very weird in any of the other Batman stuff. You know?
He takes it. Well, I think he thinks he's a bat, or he's adapted. I don't know if it's like Tarzan getting adopted by the apes or something, but he is like an animal, and that's Burton taking things literally, which I appreciate. Of course, it went on to the Batman Returns, where I remember he said in behind the scenes, "We're going to make the Penguin the Penguin." No shit, you're making this guy part Penguin. He's taking it literally, and I think that's good for the motif that this guy is almost like part creature. This really is an on again, off again, creature transformation movie in a way, which again, I don't think they've been able to do.
Yeah, he's not quite right in the head.
He's not right in the head, and that's great because you've got the greatest theme by Danny Elfman, and they're cheering for a guy who's not right in the head. And I think we need more heroes like that. I don't know what to say. It's just like it just makes you feel good in some weird way.
Yeah. And then we get back to Nicholson again, and this is the wait till they get a load of me thing. And I love that they just let the shot go on long enough that they let him kind of improvise because he just is like staring at the paper and is like, oop, oop. Like, it's just weird and like off-putting.
Gotham City always brings a smile to my face. Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me. Ooh. Ooh.
It's off-putting, and now apparently Nicholson was very weird during the making of the film. I've seen a lot of the behind-the-scenes interviews where Nicholson gave Burton a break. I mean, Nicholson was there for Burton and supported Burton, but apparently he was hard to communicate with sometimes, and I don't know if it's because he was in character, but it sounds like Jack was being very Jack, and it might have been to get all riled up as the Joker, but I heard it sounds like he was improvising that, and good for him. It's a great, because this guy sounds like a maniac. This guy, even Heath Ledger doesn't. Heath Ledger seems to more mentally in charge. You want to watch the world burn, but this guy's just an utter psycho.
Yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker is one of those things where he talks about, like, oh, I'm just an agent of chaos, and it's like, no, you're not. You're very in control. You are projecting your chaotic while actually
massive plans. He's going to blow up both ferries.
Yeah.
He's going to do that, but this Jack Nicholson is like, maybe I'll spray somebody with acid in the face tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I will. You don't know what he's going to do. That's what I love. And yet he's so clownish, but you don't know what he's going to do. It's perfect maniac.
Yeah, and I love that I'm reading about Jack Nicholson because he's an odd guy, but he was very apparently proud of this performance. He really liked the movie. He was very happy that it was successful, and he loved that like kids loved it.
Yes.
So like he was like he'd be thrilled to like sign autographs for kids, which is not a very Jack Nicholson thing, but because of this, he knew this was special.
No, and he was a fan of the Joker. This is something that he really did follow, and I've seen those behind the scenes interviews. He really did like the Joker, and this sounds like and clearly he was made for it. Who better? There were rumors back in the day, it's going to be Robin Williams, it's going to be Willem Dafoe. John Lithgow, of course, was one of the people that they looked at. But yeah, they chose Jack. They chose the very strange guy with that, impenetrable smile on his face, and they just picked perfectly.
Yeah. So we get to this. There's again another quick shot of Vicky Vale leaving Wayne Manor, and they're planning future dates and stuff. And then we get back to the Joker having this meeting with the heads of the 5 families, or whoever these guys are.
It's hilarious and dark at the same time.
It's super grim because like he's put flesh colored makeup on to not look quite as weird, although he still has the face.
Yes.
And he kills this guy with a joy buzzer.
It's fantastic.
He has wasted no time in developing themed gadgets.
No,
he's on his way.
Thanks to the power of cinema, he took a couple of hours and has a whole repertoire,
yeah.
whole arsenal of gadgets. The way these things work in movies, you take over the world in a couple of hours.
But this is such a dark thing. The movie's already dark, but for him to fry this guy, and then you see his
in broad daylight,
and hangs around with the charred corpse and stuff. Caesar Romero did not do this shit.
No, Caesar Romero. But what I love about it is that this aside from Mark Hamill, and there have been some others who've come close, and of course not taking anything away from Hamill, but this guy is a maniac clown who, it is a little bit like the Joaquin Phoenix. I just want to make people laugh. It's like this guy, loves a good joke, and he doesn't care if the joke kills, and everything's a punchline to him. And he's so psychotic, and the way he has that buzzard, it's like something out of a James Bond movie. And he fries this guy, and of course, as a kid, I remember watching it, and I'm just on the edge of my seat, stunned. I didn't want to leave the theater, but I was like, oh my God, he just fried a man, and now he's talking to the dead body. When you're a kid, you're just, this is part of the reason I love movies. It's scenes like this. It's
so dark, but it is so funny. Jack Nicholson gets all of these amazing lines where he says, what does he say? Is about the healing power of laughter.
Have you ever heard of the healing power of laughter? And then, of course, my favorite is he has the long conversation with the corpse, and you are a vicious bastard, Vitali, and I'm glad you're dead. And then he repeats, I'm glad you're dead, and can't stop laughing.
Antoine got a little hot under the collar.
You're crazy.
Haven't you ever heard of the healing power of laughter?
Now get out of here! You heard him. Let's go. Stupid, move it. Move it!
And think it over.
Come on, get out of here.
Once you go down to the Globe, follow that reporter Knox, take your camera. See what he knows about this Batman. And Bob. Remember, you are my number one guy. Yes, sir. Your pals, they're not bad people. Maybe we, ought to give them a couple of days to think it over. No? Grease them now. Okay. You are a vicious bastard, retaliate. I'm glad you're dead. I'm glad you're dead.
It's funny. It's funny, but it's dark.
Yeah, again, writing this line in almost a miraculous way that he captures all this stuff.
Yes.
And so we get to Vicky Vale. She's looking for a file on Wayne. She's curious about him.
Right.
And she follows him to Crime Alley to watch him place these roses. Which in theory it's interesting. It's a mystery to her, although in every other Batman version it's everybody knows who he is. He's the richest kid on earth, and his parents died, and it was a big news story.
And there were pearls and there were roses. Or there we know, we've seen the scene 1,000 times, but the way they play it in this one is just from if you just take the movie at face value, it's what's wrong with this guy? Why is he in the alley? I mean, we know the story, but again, one of the reasons I love the movie is I saw it before I really knew too much about Batman. I remembered the Adam West, and I remember the happy-go-lucky Batman, but then all of a sudden you see an alley. I mean, I feel like an idiot saying this, but it's I just didn't know much about his background. I just knew there was a comic book character called Batman.
Who dressed like a bat.
Like a bat. And, and it was kind of humorous. And here we are in an alleyway, and then you just don't really, as a kid, sense the dread and the angst that's coming. So that was a really well done scene.
Yeah. And so we get to the scene now where there's this, they're on the steps of City Hall, and they're speechifying about this upcoming anniversary, and the Joker dressed kind of more mime-like, and a bunch of other actual guys dressed as mimes.
First you see the mimes, and you already know, okay, this is like the shark in Jaws. The Joker's coming.
Right.
Here comes the Joker. Somehow the Joker's coming, because we've got these mimes. They look kind of like the Joker, and Bruce is not very pleased with it. He doesn't look too. He looks a little annoyed. Who are these mimes? Get GTF away from me, or I'm gonna Batman on you or something. He doesn't look too happy, and these mimes are kind of annoying him. And then we know the Joker's coming.
And then he does, and he kills this guy with a pen through the neck.
And it's, once again, a Tim Burton sense of humor kind of thing. Because remember, Beetlejuice was pretty macabre as well.
But also very funny.
But also very funny. So this, again, here comes Danny Elfman. Here comes once again, his circus music, as he likes to call it. It's kind of like a circus music. And here comes, our newest show on the road. Let's entertain audiences and throw a pen at this guy and kill him in broad daylight. I mean, it's just another gruesome but funny thing.
Yeah, and he hops in like a limo and drives away, and Bruce kind of gets this look at him. Yeah,
he does, but he hasn't put it together. But he definitely, like, something's wrong. He there's something weird going on. He sees the face and he waves at him, and that's enough for him to keep recollecting.
Yeah, I love that. Is this the scene next that? There's the TV. The TV he blows up with a boxing glove to the TV.
That's right. He does. Yeah, Well, I think that's an Elvis Presley thing. Also, apparently, who would
shoot a TV.
Shoot a TV. I didn't see the new movie, which I wanted to, but I just didn't have time. But yes, so this is one of the multiple scenes of television abuse, which television in abuse back in the day. We had the TV with boxes, like it was a box TV, a big one, and
you'd hit it if it wasn't working right.
And it wasn't where you would hit it. And sometimes, say if you're, the clown prince of crime, you want to put a boxing glove through it or shoot it.
Yep. And he's mad that Batman is getting all the press, and he, of course, gives his great line, this town needs an enema.
Does this gang war dampen the city's plans for the 200th anniversary festival?
The festival opens. The police are going to stop these gangsters.
Mr. Dent, what do you think of the theory that the mysterious Batman is a mob enforcer killing these?
I don't have any comment now.
Batman. Can somebody tell me what kind of a world we live in where a man dressed up as a bat gets all of my press? This town needs an enema.
Well, I would have gotten as a kid what that meant.
No, you hear it. You just know it's like, oh, the Joker just said one of his jokery, goofy things again.
And I know enemas are poopy and funny, but that's all I know.
Yeah, I think after that, I must have asked, Mom, what's an enema? You don't. Yeah, I didn't go to enema school at the time, so I didn't. I wasn't schooled on the art of enema.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
The art of enema.
It's a great book.
The ancient and mystical art of enema.
Yeah, I think it was in the Kama Sutra somewhere. I can't remember.
Yeah. So Bruce and Alfred are in the Batcave. He is. Yes. Alfred is pushing. Hey, go on more dates with her. Yeah. Date a human woman.
For Christ's sakes, get out of the. Yeah, it's very much kind of like the pre-Michael Caine. Get out of the bloody cave and live your lot. Try to live your lot, Batman. I can't be down in the cave.
Yeah, I do like his line about you start pretending to have fun, you might have some by accident.
Yeah, you might have somebody. Yeah, I feel there's a certain weight that lifts when she is here. Alfred, right. Why don't you marry her? Mm-hmm. It's not exactly what I had in mind. I'm Michael Goff, and I'm currently dead.
Yes. So. And so Vicky Vale is now asking Knox about Crime Alley, and we get to
the case is deepening, and you feel there is a story there. A lot of people, there was a critique. In 1989, it's like it's an iconic movie, but I think there was one review I read where it was kind of like it's light on story. I don't think so. No. I think the movie hits harder because they're going deeper and deeper into the. It really kind of comes to the conclusion of what drives a man through loss to do this, but it's done in a way where there's so many iconic scenes that you kind of lose track that there is a very deep through line here with the story.
And it cuts back and forth fairly quickly between Batman's story and Joker's story.
Editing was great in the film.
Yeah, they move very quickly.
Yeah.
Because now we get to this short scene of Joker cutting up a bunch of photos because he's enamored with Vicky.
Yes, he's fallen in love with her because he saw her at when he was miming his way when he killed the And yeah, it's your Uncle Bingo. Time to pay the check.
And every time they do this, they bring up this version of Beautiful Dreamer, the Stephen Foster.
That's
tune.
right. Yeah.
Which is an interesting addition to the score, because the score is all Danny Elfman stuff, and then of course this handful of Prince songs.
The Prince, and then Beautiful Dreamer, and also I think the waltz at the end is.
Yeah.
So yeah, he brings in. It's the mind of the Joker. I mean, of course, but the way he does it, you don't really think about it. You just know it works.
It works. It's that very Tim Burton-y, kitschy 50s sort of sound that he uses to great effect in things like Pee-wee or Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah,
he does that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. And they all have similar themes. I mean, they really are. All these movies are about loners. And, speaking of Paul Rubens, rest in peace. I mean, that movie was in its own way about a loner. And Tim Burton was a loner.
And, of course, big connection between those two, not only for Pee-wee, but then Batman Returns. He's the Penguin's father. He gave him that break,
who's the mother is Simone.
Also from
I'm on my way to Paris.
Yeah, which he needed that break.
He need. Yeah, I mean
that was right after the scandal that they put him in that.
That's right. Yeah.
That was
man. He got so much crap for that, and I look back, I'm like, my God,
nothing.
You think that's bad? Now I'm an adult listening to politics, and my God, he got off scot-free. Oh my God, I'm sorry to say got off. I don't mean any bad taste.
Yeah. And now this is where the plot starts to kick into gear a little more, because now we get Joker's plan, which is to distribute this Smilex gas, but in a savvy way, where he's putting components of this stuff into different cosmetics manufactured by the chemical company, so that you have to luck into purchasing the wrong combination of them to have the reaction. But I love the way it comes across, is that the newscasters are talking about it, and then the poor anchor woman just starts laughing and losing her mind.
Becky, this is hardly the Becky.
Yeah, and
kill the camera.
This just in. 3 mysterious deaths at a beauty parlor in... at a beauty parlor in Gotham were discovered today.
Barry, what the hell's going on?
Becky, this is hardly the...
Becky! Kill the camera.
This is Renee on the news floor. Dane, I need some paramedics up here now.
All right.
New and improved Joker products with a new secret ingredient. Smiley.
What is it?
Now, let's go over to our blind taste test.
Love that Joker.
Where's it coming from?
I don't know.
Uh-oh. You don't look happy. He's been using Brand X. But with new Joker brand, I get a grin again and again.
That luscious tan, those ruby lips and hair color, so natural, only your Undertaker knows for sure. I know what you're saying. Where can I get these fine new items? Well, that's the gang. Chances are you bought them already.
Love that Joker.
So remember, put on a happy face.
And it's just a creepy, they all wind up with that rictus Joker grin.
You wind up with the grin. And, the other thing that I kind of was putting together as a kid, but it's kind of like the Joker is all right, I had a taste of this and you guys are too. I'm going to get everybody involved in what I had. It's kind of like that a little bit too. It's I fell in this shit, and now, you know what? I think I'm gonna let you guys in on this secret of Smilex that made me so happy and so maniacal.
Yeah, and I love that. We'll get to it later, but you get to that. No, I guess not that far. So the next thing we get is this scene of Bruce looking at the background on Napier, that he's he's prone to violent mood swings, and he's good at chemistry and art.
Yes, he is looking at the file after he turns off the taken over news channel. Yes, he looks at the Yeah, he is looking at the file. Yep.
And in I think one of the better more subtle gags of the film. So they go back to the news, and they're still doing the news, but now they're not wearing any makeup, and they look like ass. Like it's so good.
They look like ass, and it's like the worst nightmare of anybody on public television. And it's phenomenal. And they did exaggerate it with the makeup, And what is the pattern here? And you just see all these zits on the guy, and
the hair is just like flopped to the side.
It's funny. I mean, Burton hasn't lost his sense of humor. If Christopher Nolan did that, it would be like, oh my God, there's no makeup. This is very serious. I'm like, no. Burton was like, no, this is not serious. This is funny.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so now we get to City Hall. They're telling it, well, the festival's still going forward, but Alfred has to tell Bruce that the meeting is not happening between him and Vicky Vale.
Right.
And then we get back to Nicholson and Alicia, who now has this creepy fucking mask on.
And you have no idea why.
No idea why. And he just tells her Daddy's going to make some art.
Darling. And he's putting on his clown makeup. So now it's like, okay, he's covering it up. Which, by the way, was incredibly hard for Nick Dudman to do. I know that they had to use, because they did actually put on a layer of skin tone makeup over the Joker makeup for real. So they had to do it in such a way that it would be so thin that you have to remove it in just the right way or everything would come off.
Yeah, it's a real neat trick that they do with that. You're right. So he's got, of course, his natural human skin. He's got the white makeup on, and then this flesh-colored makeup on top of that, and it has to all work.
Yes, it was just phenomenal work by Nick Dudman, and he would go on and have such an illustrious career. Harry Potter, of course, many others, but this was his. Like, for me, that is the best Joker makeup, in my opinion. I think that makeup, it really just defines Joker the way I thought of him as a kid, especially.
Yeah, and they never really attempted it since, because Heath Ledger's Joker is explicitly, he's not he's disfigured, but he's not white. He is he puts it on. And
which kind of goes against the comic book. Well, it depends on the interpretation, but yes, this is the even Cesar Romero back in the day had read. He said, well, I saw a black and white interview with him in makeup, just talking normal, not laughing hysterically, although his mustache is funny because he never wanted to shave it off, even with the makeup. But he says, well, according to the character I play, I believe he was, he was a criminal. He was like breaking in somewhere and he fell into a river. But you see, the river had chemicals in it and turned my hair green and my skin white. I'm like, oh, shit. So it was an older idea, but yes, Nicholson is the only one to kind of bring that to life in that way.
It's the canonical one. I believe they might have done it with Jared Leto as well, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, who gives a shit? Well, apparently some people, because Jared Leto just wasn't going away for the longest time. Snyder was like, okay, now I'll give him to you with long hair.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, look, the minute we saw that photo and it said damaged on it, I'm like, my image is damaged of this and I will not be seeing the film.
It's not good. Yeah.
No, it's not.
And so we do get a little bit of Joker in the most recent Matt Reeves Batman.
We did. But he's so horribly disfigured that for sure is the worst. That's more like an Arkham Asylum game situation, I think, or some Barry Keoghan, the Irish actor.
Yeah, which is its own thing. So they just sort of pick and choose. It depends on what kind of story they want to tell. Like, Christopher Nolan is doing a different. His thesis is just different, so you have a different Joker.
It's homegrown terrorism is what Christopher Nolan is doing. It really is post 9/11 terrorism with a maniac who calls himself Joker, but unfortunately is the kind of person who would show up in a movie theater do so. His was probably the scariest because you feel like it could be real. But the clown, I still like the clown the best. The clown, the maniac clown.
Yeah. And so now we get to this museum scene, which is great. So Vicky goes there. She thinks she's meeting Bruce Wayne, but she gets this box with a mask in it to put on.
Urgent.
Put
this on. Written by a maniac.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so she puts it on. Everyone is gassed, probably to death.
They land their really delicious looking food.
And then he walks in, kicks on the Prince tunes, and decides to desecrate all of the paintings in the museum. But
except for the Francis Bacon one, which, as you know, I kind of like this, Bob. Leave it. The Francis Bacon, one of the inspirations for Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh, interesting.
So he has a thing for the demented Francis Bacon, so he stops Bob from decimating it. Yes.
And even this museum is like it feels like H.R. Giger designed this museum.
Oh,
like
100%.
Just the look of it. It's just like I couldn't imagine it being a real art museum. It's so awful.
It's Metropolis. It really
Metropolis
is,
meaning like this 1920s silent
it is
film
the
Metropolis.
Right, it is. But this took. it's funny because Nolan, I think, had his crew watch Blade Runner before they did their Gotham, but no, this movie is clearly the one. These are the people who watch Blade Runner because this city is very similar. It is a dystopian metropolis, and these pieces, their Art Deco and the gargoyles, it is of another time. But again, the production design by the late Anton Furst, especially that museum, I think that was shot on Pinewood. That set's incredible. It's like you want to go. That's actually one of the sets I would want to go to. Would be that museum where I feel like I would be able to have a nice lunch and look at paintings, but it's twisted as hell.
Yeah. So he sits down at the table with her. They have this confrontation. He reveals what he did to Alicia, which is horrifying.
Yes, it is.
He just squirted her in the face with acid.
Hey, he finds it funny, and that
for no clear reason.
No.
We never find out why he did that, and there probably was no reason. He probably just felt like it.
That's the Jack Nicholson Joker. He just felt like it.
So he tries to do that to Vicky. She dodges it. At which point, Batman comes crashing through
after he says, "I'm melting." She splashes the water in his face.
Oh
says,
yeah, I love that.
Which is amazing because when you're a kid, that will scare the shit out of you because you feel like he actually is melting and she got him with water or something, and then it's like, hey, guess what? Just makeup, hilarious, boo.
Yeah, and I love this is again the flesh colored Joker where it's washed off partially.
It away. Right.
It's so good,
Partially.
makeup.
Amazing.
And a lot of the Wicked Witch references in the late 80s. I don't know why. We just did an episode on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They do it again in there.
Yeah.
They like their melting jokes. But anyway, yeah. So Batman comes crashing through the ceiling, which again, I love that shot of him.
So, what can I do for you?
Oh, little song, little dance. Batman's head on a lance. Tell me, what do you know about?
I don't know anything about Batman.
Really? Well, how about a little you and me?
You're insane.
I thought I was a Pisces. Come on, let's make up. Have a little whiff of my posy.
Hold on.
Get those wonderful toys.
I don't know how they did it. They must have taken him a million takes to do this without killing Michael Keaton.
With the music coming right.
Yeah, and he just fires off the grappling hook or whatever, and they zip out of there. And where does he get all those wonderful toys?
Where does he get all those wonderful toys? It's just another iconic line, and it really, he.
That was in every commercial.
But it was in every commercial, and then in the final film, it's actually muffled a little bit. I know this because I've seen every version of I've seen the VHS, I've seen the Laserdisc, I've seen, and every time you got the loud music, you got Vicky screaming, and then somewhere in there, so you get those wonderful toys, But such an iconic line, and I also love when he fires the weapon and the music is in full swing. It almost looks like he's going to fire it right at the Joker's face, but it doesn't. It goes in two different directions.
Yeah, it goes sideways.
That's funny. It's just a big F you to the Joker, fuck you and your scheme. Here I come.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And then we get this chase with the Batmobile.
First time we see it in the film.
Yeah.
We thought this creature was prowling around. Turns out he's got himself a sick ride.
I mean, it's one of those things where, anybody who knows anything about Batman, it's well, you've seen the Adam West, he's got the car. Let's see it. What does it look like? This is my favorite Batmobile design. I love it. It's so cool. Because it's so unique. It doesn't look like anything else you've ever seen before.
It's the only one that is, for that one review said the thing is cooler than an Ice Cube wearing Ray-Bans. This Batmobile is sexy. This is a sexy looking Batmobile too. And I don't mean like Joel Schumacher sexy. I mean this thing is slick. This is the risky business of Batmobiles or something.
And that was one of the problems
with car.
I mean, there's a lot of problems with the Schumacher ones, but one of them was that they they put like lights all over it, made it like they kept trying to think, how do we make it look better and better? And the answer was no, less is more. Like
less is more. They did the Disney Electrical Parade version of the Batmobile, which is fun. I've always loved the designs of every Batmobile pretty much, but yeah, they put too many lights on it. Like I love the Forever Batmobile. It's like, just keep the thing in the dark.
Yeah,
it's a convertible, but just keep it in the dark.
Well, and it's supposed to be, right, stealthy in some way, that he's prowling around in the dark.
Yeah.
I love this one. I like the animated series, which is a slightly more car-looking version of it. But
and it's,
it doesn't have that, like, airplane nose kind of.
No, it doesn't have the airplane nose.
But it's still really cool. Like, this is so great. And then we sort of see what it can do. Is it, like, the way it fires off a hook to go around a corner, all of its different gadgets and stuff. And I love that, like, they leave the car behind, and he pushes a button, and like this shield comes over, this impenetrable.
Yeah, the impenetrable shields. One of the weaker special effects, but the idea is there. But the effects there, it's like, okay, I see what's going on. They perfected it more in Batman Returns, but yes, that it's again iconic, slick, and he's got kind of a James Bond thing going.
Yeah, and they even have, I mean, the way this car chase goes, it's so cool. And they have that like pilot. It's like the Blues Brothers level of like millions of cars crashing into each other.
Cops are responsible. They like to crash cars. This is Michael Bay probably had, wet dreams about this or something.
Yeah.
When he's like, oh, this is great. I want to do this one day with robot Transformers.
Yeah, and I love they escape into this alley, and they use the hook again to go up into the top of the building. And there's that joke where he's like, how much do you weigh?
Yeah, which you never want to ask.
108. And I love that he gives her shit for like 108, really?
You weigh a little more than 108.
Yeah. Very funny. And then so they take out these dudes. He summons the car remotely, and they head off. I love this part where they drive off into the woods to the back cave. The music here is like, this is one of the, like, I mean, Danny Elfman's score is good. I love the Batman theme itself, like we talked about at the beginning. I think this is maybe the best piece of the movie, because it kind of takes that theme and like one-ups it.
It's very rewatchable. I mean, this is the kind of thing that when I'm surfing YouTube, I watch a lot of like older movie trailers, and I watch a lot of clips, and I don't know, that kind of stuff. Just, I sleep better when I see that stuff. And this is one that always pops up. And the track, of course, on the soundtrack is Descent into Mystery, and that's exactly what it is. It really, I think at that point in the film, and then when you see that theme, it really kind of seals the deal that this will always be one of the most iconic soundtracks. To this day, this is Danny Elfman's best work as far as I'm concerned. He's done a lot of soundtracks. Nothing touches this. The depth and you feel the angst, and you feel the pain, and you feel the mystery of Batman. It's kind of wrapped up in that one scene. And I love the way that the trees look so gothic, and it's like a demented fairy tale in that scene. And she wants to know who he is, and he's not letting on. It's so powerful. It's so powerful.
And the way he goes, he's careening around these curves, and he drives at what appears to be just a cliff, a dead end, and it moves so fast.
And the music crescendos with it's like, I don't know what that translates to. It's like, don't mess with Batman.
Well, you name checked Phantom of the Opera before, and I think that the scene of like him leading Christine down into the lair, same thing.
We were both Phantom kids. I actually really have to thank you because you kind of turned me on. You saw the Claude Rains version first. And
Did I?
remember you
Okay.
telling me, yeah, I said, what does he look like? You said, I swear, I don't know, my memory is kind of crazy, but I said, it looks like the inside of a pizza. I'm like, cool, I want to see that. And then I saw the Claude Rains.
And it
we
does.
were both fans of it. Does. Well, they toned it down because the World War II was going on, so it could have looked worse.
Yeah.
They toned down the makeup, and nothing compared to Lon Chaney. But I digress. It is a Phantom of the Opera moment, and it really is, like kind of like that leading Christine. It really is that.
Yeah.
It's that.
Except he is good and not evil.
He's good, but the Phantom in certain ways is good too. I've always identified with the Phantom of the, it's like, I don't know, misunderstood or something. So, but yes, he is a hero, but it's also tragic and it's mysterious, and it's kind of everything the Phantom is.
Yeah, and so he gets to the Batcave. This is where we find out, Batman has already sussed out. He is the world's greatest detective. He's figured out the chemical equation.
He cracked it. Yeah.
He cracked it. He knows it's the three different things.
Yes.
Which he basically gives that information to Vicky, so she will disseminate that too, so people will know what to do with these products.
Yeah, and the lighting in that scene is so amazing. The police have got it wrong. They're looking for one product, and he's in the dark. She doesn't know who the hell he is. He's turning away because he's like, oh shit, I can't let her.
Yeah,
I don't want to. He moves every time she gets closer. That's another thing that hasn't been done in either Batman, where like she's creeping up on him, a little Phantom there, and he's kind of crouching away and curling away. I mean, this guy is like misunderstood. Is like, Batman is shy. I don't know. There's something about it that I love. He's just, I don't know. It's like, it's so badass.
And he's very reluctant to give away his secret identity,
Absolutely.
that's in keeping with the character. There are very few people who know his secret.
Right.
And yeah, it's great. And so then we get to, I believe Joker shoots another TV.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so she wakes up. She, and then I have given a name to my pain, and it is Batman, and he gets rid of TV number 2. Yes, he does. Once again, funny.
And after another brief scene between Batman and Alfred in the Batcave, we go to this scene at Vicky Vale's apartment where Bruce shows up there to talk to her, and they're trying to, hash out, why their rendezvous did not go as planned.
And what is kind of like a very realistic moment, too. This kind of grounds it as what I've always loved about Burton's vision of Batman versus other ones, and it kind of goes back to movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark, or really any kind of fantasy movie, is that you have a fantastical world that is very much fiction, but the characters within, I mean, they even did this really with Dick Tracy, which was also scored by Elfman, is that the characters seem quite real, but the world they live in, and it was the original Star Wars, the dialogue and the characters seem very human and very realistic. You really identify with these people. Whereas other interpretations of Batman, fantasy world, fantasy people, but this one had the mix where the dialogue grounds it, and this scene between them felt like real people arguing in a fantasy world. So it's a mixture of both. You don't get all the way serious, you don't get all the way fantasy. You're kind of right where you need to be as a kid, especially.
Yeah, and I like that that moment where Bruce kind of just he's looking sort of towards the camera and he's just mouthing the words. He's trying to say it.
He's trying to say it.
Yeah, it's great. And then knock at the door. It is the Joker.
Of course.
And he's there to make his play.
Yeah.
He tells her,
we really should have a talk. I'm very upset.
He tells her Alicia threw herself out the window, which is that's dark.
Yeah,
real dark.
Did she throw herself out the window? I wonder, but yeah.
It's dark either way.
It's dark either way, but he tells it. So it's like he's trying to turn her on or something. It's like, hey, I'm single again. Alicia, she threw herself out the window. What are you doing Friday night? There's something about it that only the Joker. That's like the Joker's way of flirting is so ridiculously demented.
Yep, and this is when we get Let's Get Nuts. But we get so Bruce confronts him. He tells this whole story about this poor Jack Napier character. Mm-hmm. He had a sloppy head full of bad wiring.
Yeah. Let me tell you about this guy I know, Jack. Mean kid, bad seed, hurt people. I like him already. The problem was he got sloppy. Crazy.
He started to lose it.
He had a head full of bad wiring, I guess. Couldn't keep it straight up here. He was the kind of guy who couldn't hear the train till it was 2 feet from him. You know what happened to this guy, Jack? Wow. Made mistakes. And then he had us.
Right now! Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
Tell me something, my friend. You ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? What? I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it. Never rub another man's rhubarb.
And he's intimidating him and everything. And then he says the line, "Do you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?" which catches Bruce off guard.
It does.
And then he shoots him, and we'll find out later, of course, he had a silver tray in his shirt.
Yeah, and a lot. This scene is so very interesting, and I think it's one of the it probably is the most quoted, other than I'm Batman. Really is the "Let's get nuts," which it's kind of nauseating in the Flash when they use it just to benefit the movie, but it's not Batman's movie. But again, another conversation. But this is interesting because he's playing the Joker. He's playing him, and Bruce he's got these Batman instincts. He's got the silver tray. He's ready to take a bullet. But he's kind of pissed off. He is kind of going there. He is going insane for a minute there, and then and then that gets broken with the "Ever Dance by the Devil by the Pale Moonlight." So as a character, he's like, "Oh shit, that is a curveball. What does he mean by that?" So that's the ultimate clue that's going to drive him to the truth. But just a great scene where you've got different character dynamics going on.
And this is the most it's a very different version of Bruce Wayne you almost get in this confrontation scene where he tries to out crazy the Joker, and the Joker is
loses his shit in a sophomoric way in a way. It's just so unique. The way
and it's a play. It doesn't. You don't get the impression he's really going to take this guy down here and now either. No. It's he's trying to get information out of him. He's trying to, it's like, I'm not even sure exactly what his end game is before he gets shot.
He may not know what he's doing.
Yeah.
There is that kind of thing. He's like, I got to protect Vicky. I got to do something. But yeah, I think he is getting information, but I think he's kind of going nuts and he's letting loose, or something's going on with him where he doesn't care for, I think, that moment.
Yep. And then the Joker just sort of walks out. He's got the Beautiful Dreamer song going again.
Yeah.
And he does this weird exit where he just goes and just walks away. Again,
because he's a hopeless romantic. And that's another when you're the clown prince of crime, that's a great flirting thing, is to kind of fart your way down a hallway.
It again feels like they
with
just
lovely music by Danny Elfman.
Well, they just let Nicholson sort of do what he felt like doing.
They let Jack be Jack,
Yeah.
and again, I think I'm not sure what Tim Burton. I know this must have been Tim Burton's Jaws, and that this was a really, really hard movie to shoot, for sure, faux show. But yes, I'm sure Jack was like, "Look, Tim, why don't you stay behind the camera and let me just do a few things, and I don't know, I'll just go crazy, and you can use it if you want or not." And that's probably what happened right there.
I'm sure. So now we get Knox. First, she goes to check on Bruce, and he's gone. He should be lying there dead.
Right. So clearly he's not dead. And thank God, Batman is not dead.
Yeah. But yeah, now she knows something's up. We get Knox telling her.
Everything's coming to a head.
Yeah, Knox tells her, here's what happened in Crime Alley. She gets the story. Batman is looking at the file on his parents.
Right. We're not there yet, because then he's going to.
We're not quite to the flashback.
We're not there yet, but things are definitely, the tension is rising and characters are kind of finding their kind of the core of the story.
Yeah, we're almost there. Gordon says the gala is postponed now because of too much crime, basically.
Yeah, that's right. It cuts from Bruce figuring out. It's so funny. This is such a good example of filmmaking, is that all you need really is to go from kind of the culmination of an idea of a character from one scene, and then just have one scene in between the culmination. And that's really what this is here, is there is a lot of cross-cutting and it's quick, but the pacing is great. Bruce is figuring it out. Then we're going to have that City Hall scene where he's canceling it, and then we're going to get to the next scene where he's kind of figured it out. It's going quick. It's good.
Yeah. And then during the speech from Commissioner Gordon, Joker takes over the airwaves and tells everybody, "Hey, I'm a man of the people. I'm going to just rain money on you."
I took off my makeup. See, I have skin like everybody else. I'm not wearing white clown makeup.
Right.
He's trying to appeal to everybody.
And he literally says he'll drop $20 million on the crowd.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Where it's going to be mono and mono.
It's like, I could use the money. Maybe I should be there for that event.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Especially to watch him go up against Batman, which is what he wants.
No, it's spectacular.
And so we watch, now this comes to where we're at the flashback of the death of the Waynes. Yes. And we see young Jack Napier pointing a gun at the grief-stricken Bruce Wayne and saying the devil in the pale moonlight sentence to him again.
Tell me, kid, you ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight?
Man, let's go! Let's go, Jack!
See you around, kid.
Young Jack Napier, who is now a director. His name is Hugo Blick, and he directed, I think, the series The English with Emily Blunt, if I'm not mistaken. He's one of the directors. So young homicidal Jack Napier, but I digress.
He's well cast, too. He looks enough like him.
Well.
Yeah.
He's not Jack, but he's young Jack Napier. He's got that grin, and he's terrifying.
Yeah, he looks like, he would be more scary to me if I was, 8-year-old Bruce Wayne than like present day, like grown up Joker. Yeah. Yes. He's great. And so now after the flashback, Alfred does the unthinkable by bringing Vicky Vale into the Batcave to learn the secret.
Give him shit about that in the next film too. He doesn't let that go.
Yeah, that's right. He does mention
Vicky Vale into the Batcave. Oh, hi Vic, come on in. Which I could have done without. I thought that was a little too ad-libby, but yeah,
it was fine.
It was fine. 92. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Batman Returns fine enough.
Most people think it's the ultimate Christmas movie aside from Die Hard, but yeah.
Rocky IV, also a Christmas movie.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Rocky
and Gremlins. We've done Gremlins too.
Gremlins is those are all, and even Lethal Weapon, I will say.
Right.
Well.
Okay, so
moving on.
We got Bruce. He's dressed like Steve Jobs, and he says he has to do this because nobody else can, and Joker's still out there. I have to go to work, and he suits up.
Line. I got to go to work. It's work. You see, that's another thing I love. I don't know what it is about some of these lines, especially when you're a kid. That's another one of my favorite lines. I got to go to work. It's work. I got to put on the
I've heard my dad say that 100 times on his way out the door, right?
Yeah, and I've heard my dad say it, and it's I got to, so it's like, yeah, I got to get on this heavy fucking costume. I got to go out there. We got to turn on Danny Elfman's music. I got to fire up the car. it takes work avenging your parents' death.
Yep, night after night.
Night after night.
But he's not taking the car, as we're about to find out.
No, he's not.
He sends the car out to go blow up Axis Chemicals, which is cool.
Which to this day, I always think he's in the car. I swear to God, even to this day, the way
they never technically say he's not in the car. He could just be.
Well, he's not in the car.
Do they confirm
They show the car pull up to him later, and he stops it with the.
Oh yeah,
They do, but he's not in the car. But the way they edit it, to this day, like even when I hear the music, I have it on my soundtrack. I'll play it just to pump myself up to sell suits when I go to work or whatever. Mm-hmm. I always feel like he's in the car. It's like, I'm going to get this costume on. I'm going to drive that fucking car into Axis Chemicals. I'm going to go there myself. I always feel that, and then it's like, oh, you're not in there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool fake out. You're right.
Absolutely.
And then we have that helicopter. I think in a moment, like taunts him.
You got that lovely miniature helicopter, which is fine because it's a cool looking helicopter.
Yeah. And now we're at the parade. Prince's trust
Prince's trust is in full swing now. I don't know. This project, this is not a joke, was supposed to be given to Michael Jackson. I can't remember the reasons why, but it did go to Prince, and thank God for that, because it's like, I don't know what that would have been like. Ooh, Batman, beating up the Joker. Ooh.
Yeah, it wouldn't be right. He's not the right. No. Prince is a better fit for this. It's still a little weird to have it there, but it works. I'll take it.
Yeah, Prince is more. I mean, as I would attest with Bat Dance, Prince is just more gothic.
Just. And now, folks, it's time for Who Do You Trust? Hubba, hubba, hubba. Money, money, money. Who do you trust? Me? I'm giving away free money. And where is the Batman? He's at home, washing his tights.
Winged battle flies through the night and finds me ready, Bob Mask.
Mask, put him on now! Right. And now comes the part where I relieve you, the little people, of the burden of your failed and useless lives. But as my plastic surgeon always said, if you gotta go, go with a smile.
That's true. He is again more of a freak in a way. Although Michael Jackson's pretty weird. But
Michael. Yeah, he's a
different kind of weird.
He's he's the Batman of children. I don't want to get into
let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
So he's making it rain. It is, he's dropping money on everybody.
Yes.
And he's speechifying about who do you trust. And now we get them.
He's a great politician, by the way.
Yeah.
This is this is absolutely not an allegory about what's going on, but it is just so funny to see how easily you can, and this is fantasy again, but it is just kind of funny that he is kind of pulling a modern candidate. It's like, who do you trust? I'm big, I'm loud, everybody's going to vote for me.
Yeah, and he's not even running for anything. He's just basically popularity, and he wants to
he's a game show host.
He just wants to lure Batman out, which he does because he shows up in the fucking Batwing, which rules.
Yes, he fucking does. And again, I did read a review once that said the Batwing looks like a miniature. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It looks like that thing is big. It's flying in the air.
It looks real.
And the music, Elfman, it was just so on the money with there's no musical part in this movie from the soundtrack that's wrong. And he knows when to go full throttle. So the introduction of the Batmobile, full throttle. Introduction of the Batwing, the way it flies around the Gotham Cathedral and and you get a good look at it and it's kind of swaying around and the music is full. Like Elfman knows how to entertain. This is exactly Elfman. This is what he's doing.
And this is when, the balloons start, the parade balloons start releasing the Smilex gas. People are freaking out. And the Batwing comes in and just kind of clips them all and pulls them off into the sky and lets them go.
The only gadget that does kind of make me laugh is that, he has very nice, convenient scissors for grabbing, I guess, criminals.
You never know when you're going to need that.
You never know when you're going to need some balloon scissors or disable a kite. Or I don't know, but it's just funny, these guys. It's like, oh, I happen to have some bat clippers on the nose cone of my Batwing.
Yeah, that's pretty tricky flying, too, just to snag all those. And
he's expert. He's very Tom Cruise with his precision. He's very Tom Cruise.
And we get that amazing shot of it just against the moon, making the symbol.
Which becomes the cover on the soundtrack.
Right.
And they did try to duplicate it in The Flash, and guess what? I'll let you decide which film did it better.
Yeah,
I'll just let you decide on that one.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, they never really went up to this, because I know they introduced that, Bat Sewer Mobile thing in the sequel. And it's just it's never going to be as cool as this.
No, a lot of sequels suffer from kind of, taking the same material and repeating it beat by beat. So you're repeating the story, you're making it bigger. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. It's like, let's have the same beats of the first one, but just set in a city. Die Hard with a Vengeance. Let's go. But although I love Die Hard with a Vengeance. But
that's a fun one, yeah.
That is I love that movie.
And so Batman, I love the Joker's reaction to the balloons being taken away. It's just so funny.
Time to kill Bob.
My balloons. Those are my balloons. He stole my balloons! Why didn't somebody tell me that he had one of those things? Bob? Done. Going to need a minute or two alone, boys.
How to kill Bob? For no good reason, just shoots Bob.
Well, he look, I
Poor
mean,
Bob.
when you're poor Bob, but look, he's got a lot on his mind. He's the clown prince of crime once again, and it's like he just. But no, it is hilarious, and I love the Bob gun is very similar to Indy, just shooting the guy in Raiders. It's similar. It's not the same scope or the same level of famous, but it's just like, oh, let me just get rid of this guy.
Yeah, and he pulls out this ridiculously long revolver,
which is funny and serious at the same time. It's like, oh shit, I guess that. I mean, come on, that was kind of funny. It's like he could take it out with that kind of shot. With this highly protected.
And we never noticed him, was he bending that leg before, with it in his pants? But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because it does the Joker's bullet works and down goes the Batwing and it's scary.
And it's the first time I noticed, it's very much the exact same beat as Dark Knight where he's heading at Joker on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And Joker's like, come on, hit me.
It is.
It's the exact same beat. And it's because it's the same fundamental issue with these characters, which is, because the Joker knows Batman is the good guy and he won't kill me.
Batman can't do it. Right. Although in this one,
it's not clear because he shoots the thing out of the sky.
But in this one I will say, so yes, in that one they made the moral dilemma, oh, he can't kill, which, I mean, Keaton, he kind of does it with style, but no, Keaton was ready to kill for faux show. Keaton was ready to kill. And I don't really care too much about the Batman no kill. I didn't care until Zack Snyder came along, and then I was just kind of pissed off because I know Zack Snyder.
And we haven't even mentioned Zack Snyder's Batman stuff yet.
Yeah.
Which is, there's a reason. It's not
there's
worth
a
mentioning.
reason because I sometimes forget that universe exists. And once again, I'm like I think you are. I'm very nostalgic, so I a lot of times think the best work of cinema is in the past, not the future. But then I'm occasionally surprised by something currently. But yes, in the past, Keaton knew when to do it, and he was aiming for Joker. You see that, but somehow he misses. I never understood that.
Well, and he fires the gun at the bottom of the Batwing, which is like he hits it real good because that thing comes crashing out of the sky.
Yeah, he hits a very, very nice vulnerable spot. I mean, as a kid, you don't really care. I'm just thinking as a 43-year-old adult.
Like shit, the Batmobile took 5 million bullets and nothing happened to it.
Right, the Batmobile took 5 million bullets, but this one took. The only thing I can think of, if we want to get ultra nitpicky, is that the thing was like a prototype and he wasn't finished with it. That's something that
or he hits it in the right spot or something. It doesn't matter, but it crashes.
It doesn't matter because it's cool.
And the Joker grabs Vicky Vale and runs into this cathedral
for an old fashioned showdown. The old and even darling, I got to get you to the church on time. It becomes very archetypal. It becomes the old fashioned man has to save the hero's journey, and this is the last step. And they make you feel it. It's done very, very well in the writing.
I love this. So the Joker goes up to the top of the bell tower, and Batman has to fight his way up past all the goons.
Yes,
and
with the wonderful music playing.
This is the waltz.
The waltz.
Yeah,
waltz to the death.
And I love that he's like, he lets these guys kind of clang into the bell and then fall down. Like again, not the no kill Batman. He's
no, he's and it's. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he does kill a bit, but this is kind of like, again, I usually don't care about that because with Keaton, it's like, look, the guy's got a pretty good fucking reason. Like these guys are horrible people. Like, yeah, he's gonna kill him, but a lot of times it happens by themselves. Like he hits the guy's head, the guy falls. So it's like it kind of like, it's too late now, you're dead. But he doesn't. I don't think he cares too much.
Yeah, it's just not. Again, that's not the wavelength this movie is operating on. So it doesn't matter.
They're not operating really on morals per se.
Yeah,
or not nitpicky morals.
Yeah. So we get Beauty and the Beast. They're dancing. He does a joke about there's a bat in my belfry.
Mm-hmm.
The bell comes crashing down so the cops can't follow him up. So it's just Batman.
Great part.
Yep.
Great part. With the acid, he applies the acid. Down goes the ancient bell. And that's what I love also about this sequence is that you could feel how old that place is. This is an ancient. It's like a Hunchback of Notre Dame Dom situation. Where it's very, very ancient in the way
it's as gothic as you get.
It's as gothic as you. That's right. And they're fighting amongst the gargoyles. I mean, this is like this scene, kind of like the descent into mystery, really culminates why Batman is such a great Batman. Like why that movie is so great is it's culminating in that they're fighting amongst the gargoyles. It doesn't get more gothic than that. I mean, the use of music and the lighting, and it's very comic book brought to life, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, even as much as like Batman is kicking his ass, like Joker is still kind of just not giving a crap and throwing out jokes.
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Kill you. You idiot! You made me. Remember? You dropped me into that vat of chemicals. That wasn't easy to get over. And don't think that I didn't try. I know you did.
You killed my parents. What? Huh. What are you talking about? Huh? I made you. You made me first. Hey, bad brain. I mean, I was a kid when I killed your parents. I mean, I say I made you. You gotta say you made me. And how childish can you get, huh? You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses on, would you? Huh?
He throws at the chattering teeth.
Yeah.
Would you hit a guy with glasses?
I mean, it's like he's. You know what's funny? It's like I think he's getting hurt, but you're right. He's kind of like, oh shit, I just got my teeth kicked in. All right, time for another joke. Like, yeah, it is a little killing joke, I guess. Where, yeah, I think he's just getting the crap beaten out of him. But and I love that Keaton took a beating too. I love that this is one of the few times that you see, kind of scarred, messed up, practically burned Batman. Just survived the burning Batwing, and he got out of it. And he's and dude is messed up looking. Like the dude, he took a beating. And it's perfect.
Yeah, and this is they've been mirroring each other in lots of ways throughout the whole movie, and now we get literally Joker is basically saying, "I made you, you made me. Who cares?"
Right. Well, you made me first, and that's what I love about it. Is like I made you, you made me first, and they know who they are now. And I think Joker's starting to realize. At first, he's like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about?" He says, "You killed my parents." And then but then he brushes off. He's like, "Oh, I was a kid when I killed your parents."
Or it's just like I kill a lot of people's parents or something.
Yeah, it means nothing to him. He is a true Joker, and this is the culmination.
And what he knows that Bruce does not yet know is that he's got a rescue helicopter coming in.
He does,
which is why he's being so cavalier. He figures I just have to survive long enough to hop in this helicopter, and I'm gone.
That's it.
Which of course it then comes, and then we get the death of the Joker, which is this crazy thing where they're on the side of the church, and Batman puts the grappling thing around him and around a gargoyle.
That's right.
And the gargoyle just is too heavy and it pulls him down, and he's just like laughing the whole time. Like it's
as a kid, and even now, this is one of the movies that really could make you afraid of heights. This is one where you really, really, really feel like this is like Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol level height up here. I mean. Or cliffhanger or something, you really feel like one false move, and you're dead as disco. I mean,
and also like the unique thing of like being dragged down by this heavy weight, like that to me was like I felt that viscerally of like oh my god, like it's scary enough to fall, but then feeling like I gotta hang onto this thing or.
Nobody can do anything about it. I mean, he's like sensing his own death in real time. It's that was a scary scene that was done.
Yeah, like he's been so psychotic and cocky, but like there's like that, like you can see on his face, like he's really scared. Like he knows. Like,
you even see him. I mean, it's hard to hear, but like he loses a rung and he goes shit.
Mm-hmm.
He does. So he is scared. Even for a psychotic maniac, he's very scared.
And then he lets go.
And then let's go. And as a kid, that's once again, we talk about my first impression as a kid. It's like that was the mother of all falls as a kid. That was like the fall. I mean, now you look at it, you're kind of like, okay, he's like very kind of matte painting-ish kind of falling, but it just doesn't get higher than that. And that was just like the best bad guy fall as a kid. That was like the best bad guy death as a kid.
Yeah, your suspension of disbelief wipes away any of the little technical stuff of how it looks.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he goes crashing down. We get that great shot of him lying on the ground, and you just hear that cackling, which is like this little like just bag in his pocket.
Yes, it's
what a great Joker death.
What a great even in death, it's a gag, and man, he looks messed up. He looks the perfect amount of messed up, but like he's literally become part of the pavement. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I like that they had the guts to kill him because a lot of movies go like he's like the premier villain. We can't kill him. He's got to come back in the sequel.
Well, see, that's the thinking now, and that's what I loved about the older movies. That's specifically the superhero movies of the '80s. It was kind of like one and done. That's it. We're done. I mean, Burton had the guts not only to make Jack Napier the killer of Bruce Wayne's parents. I mean, it was such the perfect, almost soap opera twist, kind of like Luke, I am your father. It's like Batman, I killed your parents. It was very similar. And, I don't think a lot of writers have the guts to kind of go there. This was actually pretty brave. It's like to do that and then kill him in that movie. It was and it was so satisfying. You didn't have to work, you weren't thinking, oh, he'll be back. You were like, oh my God, is he dead? He could not be more dead than what I just saw.
There is no comic book magic that will bring that back to life.
No, we're not going to use the mother box, and we're not going to use any Snyder tricks to electrocute the Joker to life. No, this guy's gone.
And then we find out that all the Joker's gang has been rounded up, and everything is okay again.
And here comes
the bat signal.
One of my favorite. Well, the bat signal and the final theme, which was used in all the remaining Batman trailers from the Burton era into Schumacher. Batman triumphant.
Him just standing as a sentinel, right, on the
standing on
parapet or whatever he is.
With a beautiful, he's standing on the edge of a gargoyle for all intents and purposes with the theme playing. I love what that theme says at the end. It's like so cheerful. It's almost tear jerking how good that music is, because it's like I don't know what it means, but it's like this man is messed up in the head, but he's our savior. I can't put it together. It's just so iconic. And
he's the hero. He's not the hero
we deserve.
The hero, whatever that means.
Yeah, but it was
he's
like
the hero
80s,
we need.
But in '80s thinking, it was more like man messed up, but hero good.
Yeah. I mean,
good. Batman good.
Yeah, there's something really cool, but he is this like dark Avenger.
He is a dark, right? He's Avenger of the, and for the first time with that music, it's kind of signaling that now that he's gotten rid of the man who killed his parents, he's sort of found the light a little bit, or there's a sense, but they don't beat you over the head with it. You just see this man, and you see him in silhouette and the cape is blowing, and you hear the music, and it ends one of the most iconic action comic book movies of the 80s, specifically in 1989. The cultural impact, as we would both know, with the release of that film, as it was before with Christopher Reeve's Superman, there weren't a lot of superhero movies back then. A lot of them were by, Golem Globus presents The Punisher. They were a little low budget, or Captain America. It was always cheesy. Roger Corman got involved. This was like, all right, 1989, signing out. This is the real deal. This is the movie to beat all movies. Back in 1989, this was such a cultural moment.
I've talked about this on this show before, that it was kind of shocking that we did not get more superhero stuff in the 90s. Certainly not this level. Like, we did get the sequels to this. I like Batman Returns. The Schumacher ones can fuck off.
They can fuck off. I'll say they could really fuck off with Batman and Robin. I have some love for Batman Forever.
There's some fun things in it, but
he's still troubled. But you're right. They can fuck off. But yes, Batman and Batman Returns. But for me, it'll always be Batman. Batman Returns, a lot of people cite that as their favorite, believe it or not. I mean, he has the best suit, and he has the best. I love the Christmas.
Michelle Pfeiffer owns that movie. She's so good.
She 100% owns it. I mean, in all honesty, like I wish Christopher Walken wasn't such a third wheel, because he really didn't belong in the film per se. I don't know how to say it. He's not in the film. He's all right. He's all right, but he's like a third villain, kind of like what they do in all the other superhero movies.
Yeah.
Where there's too many villains. Spider-Man 3, I'm looking at you.
Yeah. You can do too many villains. I mean, look, Spider-Man No Way Home nailed it, right? But it's different. It's just a different beast.
Infinite possibilities.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think it's interesting. We don't really get like a super awesome superhero movie until really probably Raimi's Spider-Man, or maybe the X-Men is 2000.
Yeah,
That's about when it kind of kicks back in, and we're like, hey, we can do this. We can make a good superhero movie.
I mean, I think with X-Men, talking about the influences and what came in the future, I for my money anyway, Spider-Man, I like the Spider-Man series, but I don't love it because for me there wasn't. I will say the X-Men, the first couple, specifically 1, 2, and yes, Days of Future Past. I mean 3. I work for Brett Ratner, but I won't say too many bad things. But there wasn't when Chris Reeve's Superman came out in the 70s and Batman came out in the 80s. There was a necessity. There almost felt like a need to put those movies on the big screen. There was a necessity. I don't feel a lot of necessity in future superhero movies. Like, it's just let's make it because we can, or we haven't uncovered that property yet. We haven't brought that property to the big screen. It's just a property. It's not a story about a human being in a costume. They did it so much better in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. But now it's kind of like, well, we haven't done Ant-Man yet. Let's do it. We haven't done Guardians yet. Let's do it. I mean, there's just so much fatigue. But there wasn't fatigue back then. It was so new and so fresh. And they were also released with amazing movies. I mean, Batman came out with what? Glory. Lethal Weapon 2, Ghostbusters 2.
Last Crusade.
The Last Crusade, 1989. I remember seeing that in the theater as a 9-year-old. That was an amazing experience.
We did an episode on that too. Yeah.
I know I really should actually listen. I've been so busy. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Actually, no, you know what? It's like, no, I just feel lame. But
you'll like the Last Crusade episode.
I will listen to it. But yeah, the necessity is not there the way it was. And, thank God I was a kid when the necessity was at such full force because I experienced it in full. There was no knowledge of really how films work. There was no, it was just the fantasy come alive in the screen and a chance to see what I'd read about in comic books or heard about seen as a big screen interpretation, which became almost my only interpretation and others kind of coming in second or, oh, that was a nice attempt to do a Tim Burton's Batman, but it's just not Tim Burton's Batman. I don't know. I'm just too nostalgic, but I just don't feel like these things can be beat ever.
This is the template. Right,
right.
I think that without Richard Donner's Superman and Tim Burton's Batman, you don't get any of the superheroes movies that come after, good or bad, and all of the best ones, right? The best stuff from the MCU, the best stuff that's not from the MCU, the DC stuff, the Nolan stuff. None of that happens without this, and all of the best stuff is mirroring something that comes from this movie.
That's right. I mean, you look, even influential in other genres. You have, The Matrix was another point. I'm talking about the first Matrix. I'm not talking about the sequels. I'm talking about the good one, The Matrix. You wouldn't have that. I mean, clad in black, there was a TV spot for Batman that I remember hearing. It was, a woman in danger, a hero in black. And I'm like, that's it. That's the vision. It's the man in black, not to say Men in Black. It's a hero in black. That's all you need. It's a literal Dark Knight come out of the darkness in a grimy fantasy world. It was so clear the way they brought that to the screen. It had such a clear acknowledgement of what it was. You don't get that a lot of movies anymore. I just feel.
Yeah, and even something you look at like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which we haven't talked about yet.
Which I like.
I like it as well. I think it's just a very different movie that's like, this guy, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is so mentally ill. Like, he is not planning heists. He does not have that capacity.
No.
But this guy is not the guy who goes up against Batman. It's a story of a mentally ill man. But there is stuff in there that's like, there are still shades of Nicholson in that performance.
Yes.
Or Heath Ledger. Like, you just can't get away from this movie's orbit. It's gravitational pull.
You'll see characters like, that reminds me of a Nicholson, or even in the show Gotham, when Cameron Monaghan, I think it was, and Gotham was actually a really good show, I thought. He has shades. It's not so much, oh God, that's Heath Ledger. It's Jack. It's that $1 million smile. It's Jack. It's the iconic smile of the 70s and 80s, and it's Jack Nicholson. And yes, when Heath Ledger, not Heath Ledger, I'm sorry, when Joaquin Phoenix emerges into the game show, which is the best scene in Joker is really the talk show scene. When he emerges, it's almost like this mentally ill man has kind of metamorphosized into Jack Nicholson in a weird way. I mean, I saw a lot of Jack in Joaquin Phoenix's performance. You're right. You can't get away from these sort of building blocks that were so perfectly set down with this film, as they were again with Donner's Superman. You just can't get away from these iconic things, to the point where the makers of these films, you hear stories. It's like before we did X-Men 12, we had the cast and crew sit down and watch Christopher Reeve's Superman. You'll hear it. These people do watch these movies to try to get what they were doing so they could put it into their own version. So we know what the fundamental building blocks here. These movies are untouchable. I mean, they're just untouchable.
Well, I think that's a great place to leave it, because I couldn't say it any better. Yeah, Alex, I know you're working on a movie, so you want to tell listeners what it is and what it's about?
Yeah, sure, I appreciate it. It's called The Canyon. It's a horror short that I wrote and directed. We shot about 3 years ago. We had COVID come along. We've been postponed in post-production for just way too long that I want to get into. But it's called The Canyon. It's really a throwback to kind of early supernatural slasher movies. It's I would say kind of 70s anti-war movies, kind of like Deliverance meets The Shining. So it's really a throwback to old-fashioned 70s psychological films, and I hope people like it. It's hopefully it's a good short that kind of reminds people of films of the past. Yeah. And that's all I could say about The Canyon without giving too much away in the actual story.
Well, cool. Keep a lookout for it, because as we're recording this, you're still finishing up post. So hopefully, hopefully you'll be able to get out this year. Or
yeah, we're definitely. So color correction is the final step. We finished the last visual effects shot. It's very light on visual effects. I wanted to go old school. But yeah, once we finish color, we're looking at probably a complete finished film this month in August, and hopefully in film festivals. Shortly thereafter, we're going to have a screening party. We just don't know where the hell it's going to be yet. But, one day I will have all these answers, and that'll be another boring delve into this movie. It's just, this movie's taken so long, Doug. It's just taken so long, and I've lost so much sanity. But I guess when you lose sanity, it's easier to understand Tim Burton's Batman, I suppose.
It's for art.
It's for art. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I'm so glad you come on and do this. Quick admin on our side, of course. If you like this, find us on the social medias. We're just at NostalgiaPod on Twitter, or now X, or I can't go with X because that's BS. So just call it 10. It's the Roman numeral 10.
It's the new Bond villain. It's right. The new Bond villain domain name, whatever he's going to change until the next one, till Excelsior or whatever the hell he decides to call it.
Right. So we're there. We're on Threads, and then we're on Instagram. And follow us on the Instagram spot, because that's where I put bonus stuff for each episode every week. So find Nostalgia Mark Cannon there. If you have thoughts on this episode or our recent ones, which include Muppet Treasure Island, we did one on Yu-Gi-Oh!, Doom, and before that, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I think coming up after this is Clueless. I'm not sure. I've gotten very far ahead of where we are in the recording schedule, so I think that's next on the docket, but I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, there's something cool you're going to hear next week, I hope. So that'll do it. So, Alex, thanks again for dropping by, man. Good to see you again.
No, good to see you. It's been a lot. It's what people don't know is I rarely see you, but it's amazing to see you in person, and just having known you since we were little babies.
Yeah,
amazing. We're a little bit older now, but I don't know.
Just a hit.
We're still kids, I think.
Oh, we're definitely still kids. Just look at the list of episodes I've done on this show. I am still a child. Until next time, there's one more entry in the Nostalgium Arcanum.
You weigh a little more than 108.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. I'm not trying to start shit, I'm just saying.
Just so you know for future reference, that was even close to an accurate projection.
That's like you asking me how tall I am, and me saying I'm 6'8". I'm not a tall man, okay? That's why I gotta wear this bat suit to be scary. Just be comfortable with who you are. You're a full-bodied woman. Just own it, girl. This was not the time to be self-conscious. I asked you your weight for a practical reason. I didn't just suddenly become overwhelmed with a superficial curiosity during a high-speed chase. If I didn't use the grappling hook with the right tensile strength to carry both of us, the thing would have snapped off, and then we would have been both on our asses. You're lucky this thing held on. You endangered both of us. Why, because of vanity? Like you don't know exactly how much you weigh? Ugh, give me a break.
You are an asshole.
You know what? I was gonna take you for a ride in my cool car and show you my even cooler Batcave, but now you can forget it.
Good.
Thanks.
Fine.
Fanny.
What?